132227.
Another day in the life of a tradie.
Jack, we've got a huge job to tackle this week.
Oh, talking about tackling, you just see the footy on the weekend?
No, put the footy down and start working. We need a mini loader, portaloo, fencing, excavator, chainsaw and tipper.
Oh, tipper? I tipped the winner on the footy. Go the mighty!
Oh, no way, kicked it out. Back to work, boys, before I kick something else.
You're on a winner when you hire from Kennards. We tackle any job with ease and we'll save you time and money with the right equipment for any job.
Kennards makes your job easy.
Hi, I'm Dan from Dial Before You Dig. Since I started working here, my mates are always emailing me before they do anything. They email before they drive, they email before they dress, and more often than not, they email to impress. But all they really need to do is go online before they dig. With new pipes and cables going into the ground every day, the consequences of injury, death, or financial ruin are too great to risk. So lodge an inquiry online at 1100.com.au or call 1100.
How do you unlock the Lockwood toolbox? You could try drilling it, sawing it, or even using a jackhammer. But the only way to unlock it is with the key. Unlock the Lockwood toolbox and win concert tickets, power tools, cash and more. To enter, go to unlockthetoolbox.com.au and register your worksite. The Triple M Street team could rock up with truckloads of prizes thanks to Lockwood. Unlock the Lockwood toolbox. Enter now at unlockthetoolbox.com.au. If you haven't locked up with Lockwood, have you really locked up?
For McDonald's.
Triple M rocks football.
This quarter is brought to you by Penrite, a better class of oil used by a better class of mechanic.
Thanks to McDonald's, Triple M rocking Sunday football from a sun-drenched Etihad Stadium here in Melbourne. It's Essendon hosting Brisbane. A big hello to our Triple M listeners up in Queensland. Thank you to Mark Stevens, who's just leaving us from the Herald Sun.
Well, Steve-O.
Stephen Quartermain calling the action today with Hamish McLaughlin. Special comments coming from Jason Dunstall and Shane Crawford. Michael Roberts running the boundary line. Ash Chua with all the stats. It is Essendon up against Brisbane. There's been a late, significant out for the Bombers. Paddy Ryder is out. The Irishman Michael Quinn comes in, and a bit of late money flowing for the Brisbane Lions. Jonathan Brown's just run out onto the grounds. He is celebrating his 200th game today. Ran out with the kids in the arms. So good luck to big Jonathan Brown, one of the all-time greats for the Brisbane Lions today. Before we sink our teeth into the preview, boys, Shane Crawford, you have an exclusive on Jason Dunstall.
You can go, Steve.
It better be worth the wait.
You've been dismissed.
See, Steve-O,
he's
all
waiting.
the very best.
He's waiting. He thinks there's something big coming.
I'm getting a very strong mail that the man sitting next to me, the chief,
Jason Dunstall was his
Jason
name.
Arthur
Famous
Tunstall,
Queenslander.
yes, is considering an assistant role at the Hawthorn Football Club next year.
What? Assistant coach?
Assistant coaching role?
Yes, I hear that there might be a couple of changes, and the coach is in love with the chief and wants him involved
on match day.
Yes.
I would have thought it was difficult to miss a target by that far. But that is not even in the same hemisphere as the truth.
Jason,
have
you ever considered being a part of the coaching panel at Hawthorn?
No.
Has the coach ever asked you questions whether or not you would like to consider being involved on match day?
No. In case you didn't hear me, no.
Has he ever asked you? Jason?
No.
Has he ever asked you?
What don't you get about...
Look me in the eyes, Jason!
No!
You're not looking me in the eye!
Are you assistant coach at Hawthorn? Are you going to have a match day role?
I've said for... how many years? 12 years now.
Watch this space, Quarters.
I have no interest in coaching, and I will not be involved.
When was the last time you were asked to be an assistant coach or help on match day?
Never.
No, just when was the last time?
Never.
You've never been asked?
I said first up, straight out of footy. No, happy to go down and help on a
Has Alistair
ad hoc
Clarkson ever asked
honorary basis when I was needed early days, but mate, no interest whatsoever. Couldn't be further from the truth. That's just gossip mongering.
And for our Queensland listeners, no, we are not being air raided here in Melbourne. This is the Bombers pre-match routine.
Cover!
When they play the sirens as Essendon runs
Get to
out
the bunker!
onto the ground.
So there we have it.
Led out by Joe
Jason
Watson.
Dunstall will be at Hawthorn coaching next year.
I heard he was going to be at Windy Hill.
Assistant.
13th, Brisbane 14th. Both coaches under the pump, particularly Matthew Knights in his third year as coach of Essendon. Jason Dunstall and Shane Crawford. Who is going to win and why? And have you changed your tip with the news that Paddy Ryder is out for Essendon?
Nearly. It is a tough one to call because you've got to understand that the Brisbane Lions have won 2 of their last 16 matches That is not the sort of thing you want to hang your hat on. But what they have done is they've won their last 3 matches against Essendon here at Etihad Stadium. And those 3 matches they won by an average margin of 8 goals. Now, that is a nice head-to-head record to have. Essendon have won only 1 of their last 5 against Brisbane, and there was another draw involved there. So, head-to-head, it is clearly in Brisbane's favour. But we've got 2 teams virtually going as badly as each other at this stage of the year. 2 ways you can go. You can say, look, maybe in Jonathan Brown's 200th, the Lions will find something special, but really, should they be playing any harder because of a teammate's milestone game? And then you think, well, Essendon have had their backs to the walls for a few weeks. They're under the pump in the media. Their coach is under the pump. Will they find something? Will they come out and just, go back to basics and play hard, old-fashioned footy to try and make a statement and support their coach? I really don't know if either of those arguments carries any weight. I think whoever can play their own brand of football, get the game played on their terms, get first use of the footy, will have the best chance of winning the match. You may as well toss a coin form-wise.
I hope the match is played like last time they met when it was a drawn match at the MCG. That would be magnificent. But I've just got a feeling all week I was thinking Essendon. I'm thinking they'll show some fight. They'll stick together. Yeah. But when you look at the young guys that are coming in, it is really hard for them. Like when guys are starting out in their careers, all you want them to do is get out, stick to the structures and just get some experience into themselves. And that there really concerns me for Essendon having a win today, whereas you look at the Lions, they love Jonathan Brown. Jonathan Brown, as Michael Voss said, he is a colossus. He is the absolute superstar of this competition. And I have no doubt that is going to, whenever things get a bit tough today, they're thinking we've got to send our captain off in the right manner, and that would be with a win today, Jace.
Yeah, well, Crawford, we spoke to Nigel Voss in the lead up to this game, and I asked him about Jonathan Brown. I said, well, why wouldn't you just wrap him in cotton wool and put him away? And he said, well, but he's fit and he's ready to go. We've seen him in recent weeks unable to run. His agility severely impacted upon and affected adversely by his injuries because he hasn't been able to change direction. Okay in a straight line, but no good change in direction. But he sits there and says, but he's fit, and it'd be like not playing a fit player that's raring to go. So pretty hard to see that he's close to full fitness, Jonathan Brown.
Well, I don't think he is. When you look at his last match, which was against the West Coast Eagles, he kicked 5 goals, but on one leg. Exactly. The poor man, and that just shows you what he can do on one leg. So imagine if he's feeling a bit better about himself today. He's got his wife here. He ran through the banner with his young baby girl, and there's no doubt he'll want to be up for this match. That is why I'm sort of leaning towards the Brisbane Lions. Lukey Power, such an important player. He'll want to be up for his captain. Mitch Clark, 5 goals last week. Maybe he might sneak down forward a little bit and just give him sort of a bit of a Favola Brown setup every time they push forward. I've just got a feeling they're going to be on today, the Brisbane Lions. But I also believe Essendon will be fantastic with their pressure because it's great experience for the young kids to come in on this magnificent day when you've got your home crowd here and they like playing at Etihad Stadium. I reckon they'll be really competitive well, and I reckon if they can get close to Brisbane, that's a win for them today.
Well, with Ryder out, it's a big win because Clark can now be free to roam around up forward because Hill will have to take most of the ruck for Essendon, and then Leuenberger will be against him, so Clark can really be a bit of a free roamer this afternoon. Let's go down to the boundary line and say hello to Michael Roberts.
Thanks, Q. And, the roof's been peeled back. The sun's out, 18 degrees outside. Crowd, I'm looking around to see how many Bombers turn up. Be very interesting to see whether they've actually smoked this game or decided to turn up. But motivation for Jonathan Brown, 200 games. Matty Nice has been smashed, so the crowd are here, ready for the Bombers to make a big statement. Just down here, boys, if you can focus, there is a camera that I can actually touch, and it's actually focused on the interchange line, so the network that's doing this game, it will be beamed through, so they're going to have a wide lens to see if there's any infringement down here.
Who would have thought you'd be drawn to a camera, right?
I don't think it's for that, Robbo. I think it's for the fact it is more for Matthew Knights. I think that's the Essendon bench, and I think the camera will be on Matthew Knights rather than the interchange.
Fancy Robbo wanting to know all about a camera.
I've actually just been told that it's so wide quarters that it can pick up both lines, so that's what I've been told.
All right. I've been told that the camera's for yourself.
I'll just spin it around.
So that you don't harass anyone like you normally do down there, Robbo.
Round the grounds for the TAC. Hello, Ash Stewart.
Good afternoon, Quarters. Great to be here.
Are you on air? Yes, I am, I believe.
Now.
I am. I'm on air. Beautiful. For around the grounds for the TOC, Port Adelaide by 11 points over Melbourne. 7-2-44 to the Demons. 4-9-33-21.
And there's a first game of playing today, Ash, for Essendon, called Marcus Marigliani. Can you tell us much about that young man?
Well, I'll try and start practicing and pronouncing his surname quarters.
Marigliani.
He wears number 47.
Yes,
he's pretty solid.
That much. Yes.
He weighs 87 kilos and he's right on 6 foot. So
Stuart Cramry
is he a Frankston boy?
Stuart Cramry is playing his second game for Essendon this afternoon.
Yep.
Michael Quinn, the Irishman, is the late inclusion for Paddy Ryder. So Jake Carlisle playing his second game for Essendon. So a lot of new blood for the Bombers this afternoon.
Rookie elevation, Marigliani, however you say his name, quarters.
Marigliani.
Okay.
Okay, so good to see you've been doing your homework there, Ash.
Yep.
Back down to Robbo for SPC Man Beans.
Just quickly, Q, the Bombers bench is Melsham. Obviously, Ryder's out. Reamers is starting on the Pine. Michael Quinn is on the bench. He comes in. And Cremeri, as you've stated, and for the Brisbane Lions, Rich is there. Harwood, Redden and Stiller on the Pine.
Chief, now we're all having trouble with young
We were told
Cremeri's name.
We were told a couple of weeks it was Cramry, like a Toyota Camry.
All right, we'll go with Cramry.
So Cremeri's out.
Cramry.
It's Cramry. Hello to the Cramry family if you're listening to Triple M Football this
and to the Mariglianis in Frankston. The Frankston flyer, Marcus Marigliani's been in Ripping Nick, and at 24 he debuts. Big afternoon.
So we're ready to go here. Jonathan Brown celebrating 200 wonderful games for the Brisbane Lions. Matthew Knight starts the afternoon in the coach's box rather than on the bench. And it's Essendon starting this game favourites. Thanks to McDonald's, Triple M rocking football, Etihad Stadium in the ruck. To start proceedings this afternoon, it's David Hill for Essendon and Matthew Leuenberger, an up-and-comer for the Brisbane Lions. Down she goes. Leuenberger got first hand on it to Black, who got a little handball away in the Selwood direction. He got caught high, umpire let it go. Picked up by Polkenhorn, but it's coming back, and it's a free kick going Brisbane's way. It's going to be taken by Selwood. They're kicking to right of your dial, or the Lloyd end, or the southern end in this first quarter, deep into Brisbane's attack, but it's taken by Hurley. Little handball to Hill, not sure what to do with it. Ineffective kick, but fortunately for him, it falls into the hands of Dempsey.
Michael Hurley's got the job on Jonathan Brown. You've got Cale Hooker on Mitch Clark.
Dempsey goes searching for Myers with a handball, misses him, goes over the boundary line about 70 around from the Lions goal, kicking to the Lloyd end. The umpire reload. Leuenberger matches up against Hill, about 55 out from the Lions goal. Beautiful afternoon for football.
Prismal's gone to Black.
Hill gets thrown away by Leuenberger, goes out the back. Howlett reads it pretty well, ducks under the Sherman tackle, gives it a little handball away to Dempsey. Dempsey draws a couple of players and gives it to Prismal by hand. He gets wrapped up by Power. Little handball back to Watson. Watson for the Bombers. Ugly sort of a toe poke kick. Slattery good. Takes a couple on. Gives it to Prismal. Goes to Jetta, who then goes long for distance. It's going to be a long ball and a hard one for Hardingham out the front to mark, and the fist comes from behind. And Staker with the funny hair gets wrapped up by Dempsey. Spills backwards to Patful, who played forward last week in defence this week. Little one to Staker. He gets wrapped up. Umpire says play on. McGrath comes in. Gives a little bit of a hand. Players jump on top of each other. 65 out from the Essendon goal. Still no score. A couple of minutes into this, and it is sort of quick enough early doors.
Tom Rockcliffe got the job on Joe Watson.
You've got to reward the good tackles twice. Dempsey just got Staker cold.
Dockland side of the ground, half forward flank. Essendon going to left of your dial, or the Lockett end.
Holding the man.
It's a free kick going Brisbane's way, and it's going to be taken by Rockcliffe. Had an excellent season for Brisbane, averaging 23 disposals a game. Not a great handle to Power, puts him straight under the pump, and it goes back over the line for a throw. And half forward flank, Essendon into attack. Michael Roberts.
Bit of pressure on Jonathan Brown, Q, because every goal that he kicks, $10,000 goes to community football.
Throw in. Leuenberger and Hill both missed it. Rockcliffe, clever little hands to Black. He got the handball to Power. He's tackled by Prismal. Still at Essendon's half-forward line on the Dockland side of the ground, and we will have another stoppage.
Tackling really well, Essendon, so that's a great way to start. Good attitude towards that. But you look at their on-ballers, Howlett, Watson and Prismal. Not a lot of speed there, but they've said, let's just win the ball first and let's worry about it then.
Marigliani gets his first touch of the football. Little handball to Jetta. Centre half forward for the Bombers. Couple crash into it. Carlisle gets wrapped up directly in front of the goals. 50 out. And the umpire again bounce the football.
Just looking at the tackles. Essendon have laid 8 tackles already. Brisbane 1.
Hill works it to the front. Little tap to Riscatelli. Will he be at the Lions next year? Ducks inside. Stanton does well. Gives it to Black. Off a step. Little ball goes into the middle. Ends up being pretty neat. And the Lions have got a couple of options. 1-on-1. Long ball. The man playing his 200th Brown goes back with the flight as he's done for so many years and marks in front of Michael Hurley. 15 out directly in front.
Well, that's the power of the corridor. You come through the middle, it just opens up play. Black's kick was magnificent, and all of a sudden he kicks it beautiful to Polkinghorne, and he just wheels around, and he had space for Brown to run into, and it was just a magnificent kick out in front of Jonathan Brown, and he'll have a shot from about 20 out.
Well, in game number 200, he has an opportunity to kick goal number 50 for the year. He'll be 20 metres out when he strikes the ball. He ambles in. The old bull puts it straight through the middle. Lions get the first of the afternoon. They're 1 straight 6. Essendon yet to score on the Penrite All scoreboard.
Good start for Brisbane, good start for Jonathan Brown. You couldn't ask for anything more in his 200th game. He wants to get on the ball early, he wants to get a feel of the footy. As Croft mentioned, a great kick, 2 great kicks. It was the power kick that actually turned Polkinghorne back into the corridor, made him go the other way, opened up the space, gave him 5 metres clear to then turn and get the long ball into Jonathan Brown. And all the Lions forwards had pushed up, so it's Brown and Hooker, the only 2 running back with the flight of the ball towards the goal square, and Jonathan Brown had a little bit of a break, perfect kick.
So first goal to the Brisbane Lions. 4.5 gone first quarter. Around the grounds for the TAC, Ash.
Quarters Port leading Melbourne by 16 points, 28 minutes into the second quarter.
Umpire Razor Ray Chamberlain bangs it down in the middle again. Hill taps it in the Watson direction. Got the handball to Prismal. Ineffective one, but Prismal got it in the end. Gives a little handball to Stanton, who kicks to the wing out of sight, and the mark is taken by Carlisle. On the city side of the ground for Essendon, Carlisle's got the mark on the centre wing position. Slow to get rid of the ball. He just pumps it long inside 50. Setting himself as a whistle here. It's a hole, and it's going Brisbane's way. Against Hardingham there, and a free kick going to McGrath. Quick release handball, and as the ball comes to half back for the Lions, and a diving mark taken by Jonathan Brown, but he's a long, long way from goal.
Defensive side of the wing, little handball ends up with McGrath, takes on a couple of bombers, then swoops the handball wide to Riscatelli, goes to Leuenberger on the wing. He goes backwards to Black with a handball, who draws a couple, then gives it to Leuenberger, who sort of tries to get around Slater in battle, so he gives it to Riscatelli onto his left boot, fires it in, full forward the target, out the back Clark lurks, picks it up, fires it goal, misses from point blank, but in the end Banfield comes in, soccers off the ground. The umpire's having a chat.
Essendon players claim it hit the post.
Just wait, guys. No, it didn't hit the post from my position. Hang on, just wait. Just come in. Did you see the ball hit the post? No, it definitely didn't.
This will be a goal.
Yeah, all clear. No, it hit the post.
It's a goal. Chelsea Roth was the goal umpire.
Well, she was strong on it, Quarters, and I like that. She's really backed herself in. She said, "No, I saw it. It did not hit the post."
We'll get the benefit of the OPSM replay screen. It was Todd Banfield who was first there. Just kicked it off the ground after a great despairing tackle by Cale Hooker on Mitch Clark, denied him an easy goal. And there was claims from a couple of the Essendon players close to the action that it might have hit the padding as it went through. Chelsea Roffey, the goal umpire, didn't think so. The field umpire told her that he didn't think it hit the post. The boundary umpire said he didn't believe it had hit the post. And so a goal was given. We see on the OPSM replay screen now, that's not the angle that's going to help us at all. Perhaps this one is.
Can't tell.
Hard to tell.
Yep.
She got it right.
Perfectly positioned.
2 goals to the Lions as Reimers puts Essendon inside 50. Hatfull's there, knocks it back towards the boundary line for the Lions. Howlett, in fact it wasn't Howlett, and it was Quinn who was driven into the turf by the Lions tackle. That was Rich, and the umpire says, "Oh, come in and bounce." Half forward flank, Dockland side of the ground. Essendon into attack. We've got a ball up. Brisbane with the first 2 goals of the match. Flying high was Leuenberger to get the tap, an ineffective one, and again about 10 players over the football, and the umpire's got no alternative but to bounce it again.
When you look at the Essendon forward line, there's constant movement up there, which is perfect. You really want to isolate each other, keep your defender thinking about you and where you're going. So that's good movement. They just need to get the ball in there.
Good work by Redden. Handballs to Polkinghorne, who just blindly handballs over his head to no one in particular. Well done there by the Lions to get the ball out. Power. It came from Harwood. Now Rockcliffe handballs to Rich to Leuenberger. A lot of pressure out there from the Essendon forwards. But they win out here, the Lions, as Black taps it to Leuenberger. Jams it on the boot to half forward. Brown's in the picture there, but picked up nicely by Hurley. Hurley now kicks the ball back to the wing. There was a misguided kick, and the mark is taken by Jed Adcock.
He needed to come through the middle. He had Dempsey through there. He had a few others as well. Just needed to think, and that's where he'll grow as a player when he plays a bit more.
Adcock goes backwards to Rich at half-back, who goes to the wing and finds Leuenberger, who marks in front of Dempsey. So Leuenberger's got Rich travelling by reasonably quickly. Gives it to him by hand. Little ball to half-forward. So an ugly shot of a ball. Bombers might just win it out the back. They do well. Howlett combines with Hill, and he switches the ball wide to the outer side. Nagel, the target, meets him on the wing. He marks in front of McGrath. Monfries is on over the top. Little ball, okay. Staker gets there. Gets a fist to it and punches the ball over the boundary line. 70 round from the Essendon goal. Brisbane 2 straight. Essendon yet to score. 9 minutes played. Robbo for SPC Manbeans.
Doctor out to Riscatelli, left-hand side shoulder. He's flagged him away, so he's going to run it out.
Poor kick from Nagels. He had Monfries in space, just set it up too high.
Leuenberger the tap to Selwood, back to Leuenberger. Now the ball spills to Hanley, who kicks to the wing. Beautiful precision kick to Brown, who gets things moving quickly to one-on-one. Clark's found a couple of metres on his opponent in hooker and takes the mark. Wheels around on the right boot. No one home. He goes long. Brennan caught behind. He's got it anyway. Runs into the open goal. And Brisbane get their third. Oh, trouble for the Bombers.
Well, you can see the distinct style of play that Brisbane's trying to do there. Getting their key forwards to hit up. Brown took it up on the wing. Mitch Clark took it outside 50. And then leaving an open forward line, kicking the ball long. Players running back with the flight of the ball. Jared Brennan was the one on that occasion. And it looked like he'd almost taken the mark over the top, but it was called play on. He was still good enough to stay balanced and get the job done. Just nudged his opponent Myers under the footy. And they're off to a flyer here, Brisbane. 3 straight goals, Brisbane. Essendon yet to score. 10 minutes gone first term on the Triple M Penrite Oil scoreboard. Look for mechanics that use Penrite Oil to take proper care of your pride and joy. If they use a better class of oil, they'll also give your car a better class of service.
Half-time at Amy, is it true, man?
It is. Port Adelaide leading Melbourne by 10 points.
The Lions come out of the middle again. Rich fires it inside 50. They've got to be good here, the Bombers. Free kick, it's found. It's going Hawkins' way. Is it being manhandled by Clark? So Hocking can switch the ball to the Dockland side. Howlett the target, going back with a flight. Watson, Riscatelli does well, spoils it. Watson tries to go hard at it, can't. He's retarded, but Riscatelli comes off the ground, thumps it into Power's belly, does well. Handballs back to Riscatelli, who's on the wing. He then fires in the Brown direction. He's got Hurley to beat. He goes to ground. Then Brown somehow picks it up, finds Redden. He has the ball, takes it once, twice. Dempsey wraps him up, gets a handball away. Jetta intercepts it, tries to find Watson. Ball spills, ends up with Howlett. He gives it to Hurley, and Hurley goes short and finds his man Cramery.
Just need to use the ball really well, Essendon. They're getting numbers through the middle.
Oh dear, Cramery just
a little prime example.
20-metre kick, Shane. He put it out on the full.
Yeah, they've had a lot of options through the corridor, and they just haven't had the confidence to use those kicks. Back yourself in, especially early in the game. Doesn't matter if you make mistakes. Take the risks, and it will come off on the scoreboard.
Riscatelli goes short and sideways back to the Docklands wing, where the mark is taken by Stiller. Stiller goes short into the midfield, marked by Adcock. Lions going to right of your dial or the southern end. He squares it up to McGrath, who pumps it long to a one-on-one. Clark.
Hands in the back.
Hands in the back.
I'll tell you what,
he ran into the open goal, was about to kick the goal, and he's given 50 metres away.
I'll tell you what, though, they're dicing with danger, Essendon. That ball was held up for a long time, and they allowed Brown to sit deep and Mitch Clark to sit deep, one out against opponents. They didn't drop anyone back. All the loose players were too far up the ground.
Well, Monfries with a target at half forward. The fist came from behind, spilt the ground. Hocking ends up with a little handball coming his way. Paddles it off the ground to Dempsey, who handballs. Little sort of advantage ball to Quinn. He picks it up. Jetta flying past, receives the handball. Goes wide to Prismal. Marks and runs inside 50. Fires it at goal. Long ball, not accurate. One behind. Bombers on the scoreboard for the first time. Brisbane Lions 3 straight 18. Essendon 1 point. The lead is 17 points. We played 12 and a half. First term, Penrite All scoreboard.
Quick kick in by Adcock to Patfull. Handballs back to Adcock in the full-back position. Now he chooses the City side. It's Brown one-on-one with Hurley. Brown lost his footing. So that's easy pickings here for Hurley, who handballs to
Got to come inside. Once again, they had options inside, yet they go down the line. That's just voice and communication between one another.
Still a nice handball to Riscatelli on defensive 50. Kicks a long ball back to the wing. Brown's all by himself, takes the uncontested mark. Jonathan Brown. There's Brisbane getting some numbers back inside their attacking 50. He kicks to a one-on-one. Clark, that's good effort there by young Cramery.
Yeah, got to the front.
He did it well, and got a handball over to Hocking. He couldn't get a clear handball to a teammate. It's a half forward for Brisbane, city side of the ground, and we will have a ball up. No, high tackle.
Come in, late Mitch.
Against Mitch Clark, and it's a free kick going to Essendon as they kick it back inside the defensive 50.
Cramery to Stanton to McVeigh, who runs behind and runs to fullback proper. He puts the ball to the advantage. Here's some dangerous time coming up for the Bombers. Howlett does well, picks it up, ducks inside. There's too slick in the end for Harwood, and they've got the numbers. Stanton combines. Little one starts to run at half-back, gets run down by Redden. Umpire says play on, ball spills. In the middle it goes. Ends up with Rockcliffe. He fires the ball inside.
That is terrible awareness from Brent Stanton. He was only looking ahead. He could see one Brisbane line ahead of him. He got a shepherd there, but you can't just dawdle and expect to be given time to do whatever you want with the ball. You've got to have an awareness of what's happening around you.
Ends up with Redden about 60 from goal. Man moves off the mark in Stanton, allows Redden to go forward, pump the ball forward. Clark the target. Clark takes it first time, then as he rolls, spills out of his hands and goes over the boundary line. 40 around from the Lions' goal. 2 men where they've kicked 3 straight so far to Essendon's 1 behind.
Uncontested possessions, 41-18 Brisbane's way, and they're dominating the inside 50s 9-4.
Just haven't made it quite count on the scoreboard. They've got 3 goals to zip, but they've had a lot of play inside their 50. From the throw-in, taken by Stanton, ineffective handball.
Back, Brent Stanton.
Back, says umpire Chamberlain. Gives a free kick to Brent Stanton, who goes short to half-back Dockland side, and the mark is taken by Hooker. He goes short to Slattery.
You know, we've seen a lot of kamikaze play-on style of football from Essendon, but there's none of that. It's all being held up, maintaining possession of chip kicks. There's no handball attacking run-on play.
Playing very safe at the moment.
Slattery kicks to Hooker. Gives the handball to Hocking. He gives the handball off to Cramery, who kicks it to centre-half forward for Essendon. No one really home there for the Bombers. And we'll have another stoppage here. It's a good attack on the football, just waiting for that Brisbane player to get up. The horn.
Yeah, Polkinghorn, he was magnificent there, just kept his head down and charged through, so great play by him.
Certainly held things up. From the stoppage, quick kick out of the pack by Brennan. Fisted back to Essendon centre-half forward line by McVeigh. Now taken there by Harwood. Dishes off the handball, but it's a turnover. And Essendon get it back. Right in the middle of Etihad Stadium is Melksham. Kicks a long ball to the 50. Merritt leads Neagle in the race for the ball. Brennan comes in to lend some support. He's got it. He's tackled. He might be gone holding the ball. Umpire is going to ball it up. 45 metres out from the Bombers' goal at the Northern All Lockett end. At the moment, it's Brisbane 3 straight. Essendon 1 behind on the Penrite All scoreboard.
Umpire bounces. Ball goes up. Hooker ends up tapping it down. Riscatelli receives it. Goes to his left boot. It's got a little bit of advantage. It might fall to Sherman. Does pretty well. Takes on Slattery and then bumps the handball wide to Redden. Redden goes to Black. Black takes his time. Chooses an option. Little kick inside to Rich. Put him under pressure, but he's up to the task. And he marks in front of Dempsey. Right in the middle of Etihad, standing in the sun. Couple of options long. Brown is one. Rockcliffe goes back in the end. Clark is the option he chooses. Bouncing ball. Takes it outside where the sort of 50-metre arc hits the boundary line. It's a tough one to keep in. He just handballs back over the top, hoping for Sherman. He misses it. In the end, Black goes to ground, can't control it. Pack of players forms 55 from the Lions' goal, and the umpire will be forced to bounce again. Brisbane Lions 18, Essendon 1, 9 to play first term. That's on the Penrite All scoreboard. Sunday afternoon football over at Amy Please for the TAC Chew Man. It is Port and Melbourne.
Half-time, Port Adelaide leading Melbourne by 10 points.
Free kick for a high tackle taken by Hooker. High contact in the ruck contest. Not having a good start, Mitch Clark. He's given away about 3 free kicks. And it's 4 free kicks. There you go. He's having a horror start, Mitch Clark. He couldn't have earned Dream Team points today. He'd be absolutely killing him. So Essendon had possession at half-back. Little chip in the middle. That's marked by Dempsey. Courtney Dempsey. In the middle of Etihad Stadium. Kicks to half-forward. Looking for the lead of Carlisle. Nicely spoiled by Harwood. Soccer off the ground, comes back to the Docklands wing. Ball still in play. No, free kick. Stanton gets dealt with. It's a free kick coming back for high contact, and it's going to be taken by Howlett for the Bombers. Gives it off to Stanton. Stanton kicks to half forward. Nicely weighted kick. The mark is taken by Carlisle.
Carlisle has Marigliani as an option who just lurks close by. Marigliani turns his back and Carlisle just kicked long to the hot spot. Couple down there. Monfries is one. In the end, it's all Lions.
Shocking kick. It only travelled about 35 metres, and there's 6 loose Brisbane players there, and he kicked it into the middle of them.
Brennan marks and switches the ball wide to Clark, who's gone from full forward to half back. In turn goes to McGrath by hand. Got a couple of options. Brings it back to Merritt, who holds things up, draws the player, and then in the end they've got the numbers and they can bring it to the Dockland side through Riscatelli. Power receives a handball, runs to almost wing, puts it in front, and the ball's neatly delivered to Redden, who marks in front of Hocking, and he goes back and looks inside. Heap of players directly inside. Staker provides run on the boundary line, chooses to use him, goes via hand. Now the long ball comes. Brown out the back. Brown's strength, well, in the end it's not able to be used. Hill drops back in the hole and he marks in between fullback and centre half back and then switches the ball wide to the outer side, and Bombers have got some space and numbers.
Nice job by Hill to create a second up there and make sure Jonathan Brown didn't take the mark as Essendon work it to the city side of the ground to Slattery, who goes short and backwards to Hooker. So Essendon maintaining that possession type game, Shane.
Yeah, they've got to get the ball to their best kicks, and that's a beautiful kick because that just opens up.
Hill, an absolute soda. And now Lions get it back through Sherman, centre half forward, chips it short to Brown, and no one might pay a big price for that bad turnover, the Bombers.
And see, even though the kick was good, the kick was beautiful, Hill just, whether or not it was the sun, I'm not sure, but normally he'd eat that up. One thing Brisbane have done really well, they've won the contested possession. It's only twice this year for the whole game have they won the contested possession, and so far they're doing a terrific job about it.
Jonathan Brown has taken the mark, slide angle, kicking from about 48 metres out. At the southern end of the ground, he's kicked one and he's missed this one to the right. 3 goals won the Lions. Essendon 1 behind. We have been travelling 20 minutes in the first quarter on the Penrite All scoreboard. Michael Roberts.
Q, that sun is potent for the line forwards, actually looking into that sunshine. But Michael Hurley with the finger problem, dislocation, they're fixing that up on the bench.
Spike McVeigh goes short to Henry Slater, who marks in the pocket, now kicks long outside the defensive 50. Hill's the target. He flies. Well, he's having a very crack. He flew and missed it by about 3 feet, and it falls in Jonathan Brown's lap, about 70 from home. Little ball inside, okay to McGrath, who's on the wing prop at Dockland side of the ground. Reamers goes and stands on the mark. Very congested forward line. Now they start to spread a bit the lines and give him a few options. McGrath kicks the ball long and low. It's a pretty neat kick in the end. And they've got the ball in the hands of Rockcliffe, who again has a very crowded forward line to kick into. Brown leads to space.
Oh, what are you doing?
Well, he goes backwards because he didn't like what he was looking at. And Hanley marks on the wing, again on the Dockland side, and there's not a lot going up forward. In fact, they've worked from half forward to half back, where Merritt now marks it for the Lions. Like a look at this ball movement, Chief?
No, but this is good for Essendon. Make Daniel Merritt kick the footy.
Merritt does that, goes to Leuenberger in the middle of Etihad.
Make Leuenberger kick the footy.
He goes via hand, ends up the little handball, chiselling ball from Hanley, perfect to the Shermanator, who marks, gives it back to Hanley, runs, switches the ball wide to Black, onto his left boot, tough, Banfield misses it, goes through his hands, foot race now, Banfield takes on a couple of Bombers, going to ground McVeigh, he's got a bit of help, it's going to be okay I think for now. Prismal to Dempsey via hand, then to Stanton, he misses it, Howlett comes in, happy to punch the ball forward as he gets tackled by Banfield, and it goes out 45 around from the Lions goal. They are 3-1-19, Essendon 1 behind, 21 gone, first term Penrite All scoreboard. True.
Just a couple of stats. Bombers, 1 ineffective kick inside their forward 50 for the game. Watson just the 2 disposals, Monfries statless.
Mucked up that one, Brisbane, in their forward 50 entry.
Hill mistimed his jump again and the boundary throw, and he needs to work that out and work it out quickly.
Brennan kicks into the goal square, it's bouncing and just misses. Through for a behind. 3-2 the Lions. Essendon 1 behind. 22 minutes gone first term.
His timing's all out at the moment, Jace, David Hill.
If I was Matthew Knights,
get it right.
Matthew Knights would get him off and have a chat on the phone and say, are you switched on or not? Start attacking the footy.
McVeigh this time goes long outside 50. Fists go up. Spills to Stanton. He has it dislodged. Power reads it well. Little handball back inside. Selwood the target. Too slick for him. Spills to ground. Rich picks it up. Gets tackled. Sits underneath Stanton. Ball. Little bit of a chance for Selwood. He picks it up and gets up. Gets tackled. Spills it. But there's a free kick. It's going the Lions' way. So Selwood will have it. Surprising to see Selwood getting a free kick for being taken high. Goes in very hard, gives it to Power, the little handball. He squeezed the ball in Jonathan Brown's direction. He marks in the pocket, but it's gone against Brown for a shove.
Push in the back, hands in the back.
So the Bombers will have it last line. And the little ball is okay. Hooker finds Jetta in between fullback and centre half back, and he plays on Vihan to McVeigh.
Should be McVeigh's kicked it out of bounds on the full. Should be further ahead, Brisbane.
They should be, and Essendon, their efficiency with the ball, they're picking all the wrong options at the moment, whether or not that's inexperienced. McVeigh, he's an experienced player, and it's just a bad kick going out wide and taking no risk. You've got to take risks, link up, run and spread from the contest.
And Harwood's kicked it back into play, and the mark's been taken by Adcock, who will line up 40 metres out from goal on about a 55-degree angle. Dockland side of the ground at the southern end, drop punt on its way, and that's a beautiful kick. It's a goal. The Lions get their fourth. Brisbane 4-2-26. Essendon one behind. 24 minutes gone. First term. Triple M Penrite all scoreboard. Chief.
Horrendous stuff from the Bombers.
It's got nothing to do with the coach either.
No, absolutely not. This is the players just playing poor football. Poor skills, poor decision making, and they're not switched on. And I don't think they're anywhere near as desperate as the Brisbane Lions are at the moment. The Brisbane Lions have had 45 possessions in the forward half of their ground. Essendon's had 14. They're just dominating, and it doesn't look like anyone from Essendon is actually going to put their hand up and try and take control of the game.
Let's go down to Robbo at ground level for SPC Manbeans.
Jack Redden has just run onto the ground. I reckon they missed it, the emergencies down here in the rotation. I reckon he was over. That could have cost Brisbane a goal. That could have been infringement with the interchange.
Go to the camera, Robbo.
Exactly, Corf.
High on Watson.
What's he had, Joe Watson, please, Ash?
2 Carlton drafts.
Yeah, doesn't look likely. Here's David Hill.
Gets a free kick in the middle and kicks it to Hill, who marks in front of Hanley. Plays on.
Cheer for marking that.
Looping ball, okay, to Nagel.
Now, that's what David Hill can do. He can get on his bike, he runs well, marks it. Here's Nagel squaring it up.
Puts it to the top. Carlisle the target with Hardingham. Carlisle takes it directly in front. Umpire says yes.
Now, we were critical of David Hill before his run. Under a couple of balls, he fumbled an easy mark that cost them a goal. But when he is on, he's a damaging ruckman. He got forward of the contest. He took the ball and then he delivered it beautifully to Nagel. And then Nagel played percentage football. He didn't have the shot from deep in the pocket. He squared it up. And Big Carlisle. Haven't seen much of him. A good strong mark. I don't know what he's like as a kick. We're about to find out.
He's kicked one goal in his life. That was in his debut game. He'll kick it from about 20 metres, 55-degree angle. He kicks it. It's beautiful. Splits the middle. A major for the Bombers, the first of the afternoon. And it comes through a man playing his second game. Lions 4-2-26. Essendon 1-1-7. Penrite all scoreboard.
Yeah, that was all to do with the ruckman. Well done, Hill. Just pushing hard forward. That's why he can be such a dangerous player. Not only can he tap it to advantage in the centre of the ground, he can run on and link up beautifully. And Carlisle, nice mark and beautiful goal. And what I loved about his set shot for goal, Jace, he kicked right through the ball. And beautiful to see from a young fella.
Yeah, nice routine, kept everything in a straight line, simple run up, and then as Cork said, he kicked through it, leg through the target, never looked like missing.
Carlton draft stats. Jonathan Brown, number 1 ranked player on the ground. 7 possessions, 6 marks, 1 goal, 1.
Michael Roberts.
Jetta's got a blood nose cue, but Simon Madden has had to calm Mark McVeigh down. He's just blowing his stack. He's agitated, so tense, eyeballing the camera, sent a message along the bench. He's not happy.
They're lifting.
Brisbale's got the ball on the Docklands wing. Gives it off to Marigliani. To Watson. Back to Marigliani. Poor handball to Howard, who gets pumped out of action by Riscatelli. Oh, a nice little twist and turn by Hanley, but his handball was poor. Intercepted by Carlisle. Gives the handball back to Howlett. Kicks it inside 50 for Essendon. Front and centre was Brisbane. Gives it back to Marigliani, who has a shot at goal, and he's put it through the middle. Marcus
Marcus Marigliani kicks his first goal in league football in his debut match. And the Bombers are back after a shocking start. It's the Brisbane Lions 4-2-26, Essendon 2-1-13, 27.5 gone first term. Penrite all scoreboard starting to get a bit of fire in the game now.
It's like someone's just flicked the switch on. All of a sudden we see the Bombers players running in numbers, taking the game on, and all of a sudden Prismal got the ball and he had a few options around him. And that's exactly what you want. So great play, Essendon, and great play by the young fella.
Yeah, he went from ball lollies to chocolates. He gave away a poor handball a moment ago that created a turnover, but now he gets on the end of it. I love the contest from Kyle Hardingham. He slipped, but then fought back to front spot to make it contest, which allowed Prismal to get front and squared. And as you said, Corby, he had three options, could have given it to. Good finish.
So the boy from Frankston gets his first in AFL football. The Lions win the stoppage. Riscatelli goes long. Brown puts the hand to his eyes to shield the sun. Picks up the loose ball, fires it in, has hit the post, and Chelsea's seen it.
Yeah, just flicked the padding. We were right behind it. That was a very good decision. But that is a soda missed by Jonathan Brown. Everyone was shielding their eyes for the sun. He stopped. Got the best bounce you've ever seen over the top of the pack into his hands. He strolled into the open goal and missed.
Bad miss by the Lions skipper. Only 10 metres out. Could have had a bounce even and then gone right to the goal line. Anyway,
he could have three to his name, Brown. He's got one.
Yep. We got a ball up, half forward flank, Dockland side of the ground. Lions into attack. They lead 4-3 to 2-1.
They're going to get out of this all right, Quarters, the Bombers, because it looked like it was going to be a disaster. Getting 2 goals close to quarter time. They've got out of this nicely.
Watson the clearance, gives the handball to Hocking. To Prismal, back to Hocking. Puts the foot on the gas and shakes off his opponent. He was running so fast to shake the kick inside 50, and Merritt mops up for the Lions. Handballs to Staker. Gives the handball to Patfull. And now the Lions through Stiller work it out of defence. He kicks to the wing. Banfield against Hocking, and Hocking knocks it over the line for a throw in. Smack bang on the wing, Docklands wing here at Etihad Stadium. Around the grounds, Ashtura for the TAC.
Port Adelaide leading Melbourne by 11 points, 1 minute into the third quarter.
20 seconds to play here. It's the Lions by 14 points in the first term. Penrite all scoreboard. Umpire throws it back in black, as he's done so often. Finds the ball, then loops a handball to Redden, who gives it to Harwood, who kicks long. Brown is there in his 200. Well, that is Jonathan Brown, page 1 of the Jonathan Brown How to Mark One-on-One textbook. He'll kick for his second after the siren to make it a 20-point margin.
Well, the kick was magnificent. It was just to space, and Jonathan Brown was just able to hold Hurley out, and that's exactly what forwards want when they're standing still in the forward line. He won't miss this, Quarters.
Well, he's kicked 1 goal, 2 for the quarter. This for 2-2. Brown goes back. Chelsea looks up overhead, and the Lions 5-3-33, Essendon 2-1-13. It's a 20-point lead at the first break. Penrite all scoreboard.
For Brisbane, 2 goals to Jonathan Brown and singles to Adcock, Brennan and Banfield. And the goal scorers for the Bombers are two of their rookies. Carlisle a goal and Marcus Marigliani also a goal in his first game. That is all on the Triple M Penrite all scoreboard. Round the grounds once again, Ashtura.
Port Adelaide leading Melbourne by 17 points, 9-3-57 to the Demons, 5-10-40, 3 minutes into the third.
TAC build up or suffer the pain. Quarter time here at Etihad Stadium, and it's the Lions in front by 20. Thanks to McDonald's, Triple M, rock Sunday football.
This quarter was brought to you by Penrite, a better class of oil used by a better class of mechanic.
For McDonald's.
Triple M rocks football.
This is Melbourne's 105.1 Triple M, where you wake up and drive to work with Eddie Maguire, Luke Darcy and Mika Buchan on The Hot Breakfast.
It's always very interesting.
Covers a lot of issues on your daily interest.
Good laughter for the day.
I don't need Botox, I don't need a fatter hair.
Knock off and head home with James Brayshaw and Billy Brownless on The Rush Hour.
You never saw any of this over at SEN, did you?
And all day you get Melbourne's best rock. Now you can listen longer to 105.1 Triple M.
Carlton Draft's Magnetron. A 30-metre magnetic crane strong enough to hoist over 100 grand in prizes, including 2 Toyota AFL Grand Final tickets for the next 10 years. Buy specially marked cartons of Carlton Draft and you could control it on Grand Final Day. Carlton Draft Magnetron. Made from beer. Vic permit number 101358, GFAFL 1028. Visit carltondraft.com for more details. In September 19, 2010.
No Wiki Carbone Lawyers for work injuries. 1300 injured.
No win, no charge.
No Wiki Carbone Lawyers for car accidents. 1300 injured.
No win, no charge.
No Wiki Carbone Lawyers for trips and falls. 1300 injured.
No win, no charge. Though some conditions may apply.
No Wiki Carbone Lawyers who can help you.
Compensation for injuries. No win, no charge. In King Street, Melbourne, Thomastown and St Albans.
It's back, bigger than ever. Harvey Norman's 4-day sale on now. Save $436 on HP quad-core laptop with 1 gig graphics, red hot $7.99. Roomy 410-litre fridge, only $4.99. Up to 40% off selected furniture floor stock. Up to 45% off mattresses, ensembles in Manchester. Many more Harvey Norman's deals in store. Don't miss this opportunity to save. Big on range, big on brands, even bigger on savings. It's Harvey Norman's. Hurry, ends Monday.
Every 3 seconds, someone's identity is stolen through cybercrime. Basic antivirus protection is no longer enough. Outsmart cybercriminals with Norton 360. Better protect your identity, your passwords, your money, your life. And keep the bad guys out. Right now, you can get $60 back when you buy it from participating retailers. Protect yourself with Norton 360, or your identity could be stolen as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Does your web designer have an asymmetrical haircut? Does he wear a bow tie to be ironic? And does he charge extra because it's Monday? Then you need to talk to Sites and Stores. They make it easy and affordable to create your website. In fact, they can create a new one for you from as little as $397 or an online store from just $797. Call Sites and Stores on 1300 796 530 or visit getarealquote.com.au.
Radar Radio is breaking all new music all the time. Now on digital radio, here's what's new to the playlist this week. Birds of Tokyo, Plans.
We made plans to kiss the sun and
Kanye West, Power.
Now tripping off the power.
And awesome new unsigned music. Apollonia, In My Heart. For the iRiver B30, I do what I like. Visit radarradio.com.au or check it out on digital radio. Radar Radio, get on it.
For McDonald's.
Triple M rocks football. This quarter is brought to you by Hard Yakka. For over 75 years, nothing's tougher.
Thanks to McDonald's. Triple M rocking footy in season 2010. It's quarter time here at Etihad Stadium. Round 21. Essendon and Brisbane playing for pride this afternoon. In the first quarter, the honours went to the Lions 5-3-33 to Essendon 2-1-13. 20 points the difference in favour of the visitors. Jonathan Brown with 2 goals, singles to Brennan, Banfield and Adcock, while for the Bombers 1 each to Marigliani and to Carlisle. Around the grounds for the TAC, Ashley Chua.
Quarters, Port Adelaide leading Melbourne by 17 points, 10-3-63. Demons 6-10-46, 7 into the third.
Major goal scorers in that contest?
Port Adelaide, 3 goals to Jay Schultz, 2 to Boak, and for the Demons, 2 goals to Jarrah.
All right, so Port Adelaide with their noses in front there. Here it is Brisbane by 20 points, and the late game today, the West Coast Eagles host the Kangaroos over in the West. Congratulations to Brent Harvey playing his 300th. 200 games to Jonathan Brown today, Jason, and he was the star in the first quarter. Kick 2, should have maybe got 4.
Yeah, he ran into an open goal, missed a sitter, missed another set shot from about 50 out, but almost right in front. He's got a quality opponent, a youngster in Michael Hurley, who we all have pretty big raps on, high hopes for in the future, but clearly getting outpointed by the master at the moment. And the good thing about Jonathan Brown watching that first quarter is he's moved well. He roamed up to the wing and got a couple of possessions early, looked good on the lead, and his mobility looks to be back, so good signs for Brisbane. Hard to see where the lift is going to come from for the Bombers. They're getting smashed in the midfield. They've got some work to do. They've got to get a little bit of first use of the footy and get it down forward quickly.
I was happy with their last 5 minutes. I thought they started to link up reasonably well, so if they can take that into this quarter, they can certainly beat Brisbane on the scoreboard. And the starting positions for the defenders need to get them right, because at the moment They look very, very dangerous every time they go forward.
Hill, perfect tap to Watson, goes searching for Howlett with a handball. It's cut off by Stiller, who gives it quickly to Rich, who kicks to half forward, but Dempsey doesn't break stride, picks it up, cleans up for the Bombers and puts the kick in front of Carlisle. It's a nice kick.
Good hands.
The lean youngster marks it on the wing proper in front of Staker.
Looks a lightly tight,
He does, he moves well, and he actually took the ball in his hands, not on the chest. I like it.
Carlisle now kicks to half forward. Again, Watson the target. He claims to have been held. Ball spills, comes off a couple of fists, ends up jumping into the hands of Howlett. He gets wrapped up by both Rockcliffe and Rich, and while the umpire gets ready to bounce, we'll go down to Robbo for SPC man beats.
Yeah, just a little angst in the crowd, and you can understand that from the Bomber fans too. Hammer and the Sun's gone in, so good for the forwards down in attack for the Dons.
Rockcliffe gets stripped of the ball by Watson, who picked it up, got caught a little bit high. Handballs off to Marigliani. Just going to have trouble with that name over the years. That is a hard one to get out as a commentator. And we've got a stoppage here at half forward for the Bombers. On the Dockland side, there's Marigliani again. He's driven over the line, and we'll have a throw in.
Imagine if you worked for SPS.
Essendon supporters will be happy to know that Matthew Knights was a little bit upset at quarter time, and the two things he said to his players, Croft, take more risks, which you were on about, and where's the intensity, which I was on about. So hopefully they'll get a better showing this quarter.
Leuenberger handballs from the ruck contest to Riscatelli, who gives it to Rich. Beautiful kick to half forward. Dockland side.
Ground one
by
out.
Clark. He sells the dummy. Dishes off the handball to Power. Power. Now there's a hold here. What's happened here?
Jonathan Brown with a high fence, so it's a reversal where the ball was.
Okay, so it's going downfield. He slapped Hurley in the mush. Hurley might have a bit of claret there, and it's a free kick to Essendon. They work it for the wing. The mark's taken by Hill.
Oh, good
Hill
running, Hooker.
Gives it back to Hooker, who draws Staker, and then he handballs to Carlisle. Will it sit for him? It does. Puts it onto his boot. Goes to half forward. Monfrey's the target. He contests it with McGrath. They see it go over the head. Picked up by Merritt. Deep in defence for the Lions, and he's happy to be sort of carried over the line, 10 around from the right point post. Bombers doing the attacking. Lions 5-3. Essendon 2-1. 2 minutes gone. Second term Hardyacker scoreboard as the umpire reloads. Leuenberger throws Carlisle out of the way, puts a little handball to the advantage of Rich. He goes to the top with a handball. Nice one to Redden. Redden goes in turn to Polkinghorne, who does well. McVeigh does really well. Just drags him down. He was on the ground and somehow got a hand to him. Ball though spelt to Rich. Rich to Adcock. Adcock to Staker. He runs to centre half back and threads the ball perfectly to Brown, who marks on the chest. Then he's got Clark as the option. He's only got one option. Clark it is, and Clark he finds.
Well, they're too mobile. Clark and Brown are running Hooker and Hurley around, and what Brisbane are doing continually is keeping the open 50. Their forward 50 is just completely wide open. They've got enormous areas to run into, and the ball disposal has been actually good out in front of both Brown and Clark.
Clark kicked 5 last week. He'll be kicking from about 35. Not a heap of angle. Awkward sort of a drop. Length back on it. The result is 6 points to the Brisbane Lions. 6-3-39. Essendon 2-1-13. 3 minutes played. Second term Hardyacker scoreboard.
Yeah, just good play from the Brisbane Lions. They're kicking long to advantage. They're kicking long to space. Makes it very hard for the Essendon defenders when there's so much time and space for the players to work into. And they've just got to hang in here. They've got to put more pressure around the ball. At least they're trying to take the game on. But it's just too easy going inside 50, and they've really got to get on top of that right now.
Carlton drafts 20 uncontested marks in their forward half for Brisbane, 6 for Essendon. That's work rate. That's players prepared to run and run hard.
Margin out to 26 points. Sash, how's it going over at Amy Stadium?
Port Adelaide leading Melbourne by 11 points, 12 into the third quarter.
Demons hanging in there from the centre bounce. It's taken by Black. Ineffective handball taken for Essendon by Prismal. Quick one to Stanton, who gives it off to Melksham. Kicks it inside 50 in the Monfrey's direction. Couldn't get there. In the back pocket, McGrath for the Lions under the pump. Breaks a couple of tackles. And then handballs to Merritt, who just gets boot to ball in time and did a good job. He kicked it to Staker. Couldn't take the mark, but has time to recover. Gets past Melksham. Has an awkward bounce. Not much to kick to.
No pressure.
And now he kicks to Redden, who wasn't even looking. Kicks towards Brown, who just with strength got rid of Hurley. Sensational play by Jonathan Brown. Kicked Campbell back to Redden, who couldn't snaffle it. And now Essendon get it back through Melksham. Dockland side of the ground, half forward flank. Drills it into the pocket. Staker gets into the hole with courage. Monfries couldn't take the mark. Staker has another crack. Good tackle on him. Ball spills free. Jenner from an impossible angle kicks the points. behind to Leroy Jetta. It's the Lions 39 leading the Bombers 14.
Every time Essendon go forward, it's such hard work to just try and find a spare forward. But every time the Lions go forward, it's just too easy. So they need to get on top of it.
It's crowded at one end and open at the other, isn't it?
McGrath kicks to the outer side. Clark was the target. Spoil came from behind. Bombers have the numbers. They kick a long ball in. Merritt and Patfield. They could have done rock, paper, scissors just to mark on their chest, but the fist came. They weren't talking to each other and they spoiled it through for one behind. So Lions now 6-3-39, Essendon 2-3-15, 5 gone, second term, hard yakka scoreboard.
Look at Adcock, that's too easy.
They had the huddle, and Adcock peeled off and has taken the mark from the kick in, still inside his own defensive 50.
He was 15 clear, which means no one, absolutely no one took any notice of him when he broke.
Adcock just goes short, and the mark's taken by Rockcliffe. What an exciting young talent he is. Paul Magnet, averaging 23 disposals in his first full season. The tagging job on Watson today. Kicks to half-back. Good mark taken by Brennan on the City side of the ground.
David Myers has the job of running with him, finding it difficult at the moment.
It's just going to come down to work ethic now, and he's man-on-man all over the field.
6 disposal for Brennan. He kicks back to the hard-running Rockcliffe, who takes the mark on the City wing. So they are working hard, Shane, aren't they, the Brisbane? They're peeling off, presenting. Mark here taken by Polkinghorne.
Maintaining possession too, so that's the most important thing.
He kicks to Power, who in turn chips to Riscatelli. Clinical but effective by Brisbane.
Still space in the forward line, which is not what you want from an Essendon
13 touches for Riscatelli, who kicks it back to Polkinghorne.
And that's Essendon players not working hard enough to get back and give Hurley a chop out.
He plays on, jams it on the left boot. Brown's there. Essendon defenders get back and knock it away from him towards the boundary line. It's still in play in the forward pocket. Harwood attacks it for the Lions. He's game tackled. Umpire says you're gone. Ray Chamberlain penalises Harwood, and it's a free kick in the back pocket going to the Bombers. It is a Brisbane 39, Essendon 15. We've been going 7 minutes in the second term on the hard yakka scoreboard.
McVeigh, beautiful ball to Carlisle, and marks at half-back.
Just opens up everything now, and away they go.
Carlisle to Reamers, who handballs to Howlett. Nice movement through the middle. They end up kicking a long ball. Hardingham the target with Adcock. Hardingham goes up 3. Juggles, terrific mark. He'll go back and kick a goal. 35 out, call it directly in front. Slick movement from half-back.
Yeah, that's a mirror image of what Brisbane have been doing. Essendon pushed up, they got numbers back, they created the turnover, and then they had some run going forward. Hardingham was one out against Adcock, on the run, back towards goal, a kick out in front of him. Tremendous play. Need more of it from the Bombers.
Carlisle and Maragliani combine in that sequence, and ends up with another youngster in Kyle Hardingham. He's 8-7 this year. He kicks from 30 out, and it's across the face.
Not a good set shot for goal.
So close to the man on the mark.
Yeah, he jammed himself up and he had to sort of pop it over the top. News coming through that Brennan Goddard's mark of the year has lasted not more than 24 hours. Liam Jarrah, according to the Triple M Twitter, has just taken care of things for this year. Here, it is the Lions 6-3-39, Essendon 2-4-16.
Couldn't be better than Goddard, surely.
Apparently it is.
Leuenberger, great hands. Marks, dishes off. Selwood gives it back to Rich. His kick to the wings, poor. Chopping it off and taking the mark for the Bombers is Howlett. Mature age rookie this year. Kicks to half forward. Carlisle again. Not on this occasion. Ball won by Selwood. Gives the handball to Rich. Kicks back to the wing. Howlett can't take the one-hander but has time to recover. Gives the handball off to Slattery, who handballs to Watson under pressure. Coughs it up. Taken by Power. Handballs back to Rich. Built the beans. He also has time though to pick it up and then kicks to Brown, who's unmarked. And Jonathan Brown got away from Hurley and has taken the mark on a very slight angle, 35 metres out from goal, and he'll line up for his third.
Well, I wasn't looking behind Playcroft, but I'd love to know what Michael Hurley was doing. You're playing on Jonathan Brown. What are you doing standing 20 metres away from him?
I think the worry is because they're creating so much space, he wants to play in front of him so he takes the lead out of the equation, but all of a sudden they're just popping it up, and Jonathan Brown's just such a smart player, so Hurley needs to get his starting positions right, needs to be arm across him and just with him the whole time, and then work from there. At the moment, the young fella's got it all wrong.
This man is a champion. 11 possessions, 9 marks and 2 goals, 2 already, and now you can make it 3.
He is a star of the AFL. The captain playing his 200th game this afternoon already has 3 goals next to his name. And on the Triple M Hard Yakka scoreboard, look as good off the work side. Urban Tees and hoodies in store now at Hard Yakka. It's the Lions 7-3-45, Essendon 2-4-16. The margin points at the halfway mark of the second quarter.
Getting ugly. The Carlton drafts for Joe Watson, please, Ash.
He's just the 8 possessions at 50% efficiency.
Yeah, he got tackled by Jared Brennan. Just taking too long there, created the turnover. They need something to happen in the midfield, the Bombers.
Carlton draft stats. Lions going at 82% kicking efficiency, which is 16 above the AFL average. And Monfrey's the only player on the ground who's statless.
Brendan Favola just in the crowd. Chewing a bit of gum and hanging around with his kids as he watches the Lions dominate Essendon in his first half of football. They go forward again. Tough sort of an ugly kick. Powers a target. In the end, nice fist came from Slattery. They fell to Selwood and the Lions through Sherman. Work it to Jay Brown again. And this is neat and slick and tidy at the moment from the Brisbane Lions.
Now, I had a close look at Hurley then, Jace, and Jonathan Brown, what he did and did really well. He just continually kept moving. He went one way, doubled back. And then he just gave himself 1.5 meters on Hurley, and that was enough to just hold on to that mark. Just going to need some support, young Hurley. Just need some players dropping back in that hole, getting back, flood in numbers, and just try and help the young fella out.
We kicked 7 in round 2 against the Blues. This is for number 4. We've only played 11 in the second term. He puts it wide, 1 behind the result only. Lions 46-16 they lead it. 30-point lead as we go round the grounds for the TAC. Chew.
Port Adelaide lead by 31 points. 13-5-83. Melbourne 7-10-52. 20 into the third.
Not a great kick in by the Bombers. Almost a mark to Selwood. Brisbane have possession. Leuenberger in the forward pocket. Impossible angle. Kicks into the goal square. Jonathan Brown was at a mark. No play on, says the umpire. Brown wanted it. He's not happy. And the Bombers clear. Oh, lucky let off there. McVeigh to Stanton to Dempsey. Not sure what to do with it. Now he kicks back into the corridor and he finds Jenner, who breaks one tackle and gives a handball to Neagle. And didn't see Leuenberg coming. Just managed to get the handball away, but it was an ineffective one. That is awful play by Neagle. Just no vision at all. And the Lions get it back in the midfield. Staker. Handballs to Hanley. Awkward kick to centre half back, but it's okay. It's marked by Adcock, who chips back into the corridor, and the mark's taken by Sherman, who switches to the city side of the ground to the wing position. Mark taken by Patfull. Patfull drills it to Brown, who takes the mark. 55 out. He is dominating this game with 3 goals, 3.
He must be on some sort of horse steroid. They use up at Fanny Bay Racecourse because he's moving very well for a bloke that's very injured.
He's looking $1 million and some. 11th mark for Jonathan Brown already.
He's going to have a shot here.
He is 55 metres out from goal. Too far out to score, Jonathan Brown. He has a dip anyway. It's not a bad kick. It's on the line. It's off hands and it's through for a behind. And Jonathan Brown, he was only a couple of metres short there. He's kicked 3 goals, 4. And on the Triple M Hard Yakka scoreboard, Brisbane move on to 7-5-47. Essendon 2-4-16. The margin's 31 points at the 13.5-minute mark, second term.
Myers short to Hooker, who goes to Carlisle as any chance of a mark spoilt by Staker, who came in late, perfectly timed the fist and punches the ball out of bounds. 60 around from the Lions goal. Dockland side, Lions 7-5-47. Essendon 2-4-16. 13 played, second term. Hard Yakka scoreboard as the umpire reloads. Hill and Brennan. Hill knocks it down perfectly to Rockcliffe for the Lions. He snaps the ball around the corner. Banfield picks it up, gets himself some space by putting out his left hand, snaps around the corner, and Banfield finishes perfectly. The Lions have got 8. And they have had a terrific second term. Lions 8-5-53. Essendon languishing on 2-4-16. 14 played second term. Hard Yakka scoreboard.
Right now, Cruel, this is looking a 10 or 15 goal result.
It is. It's funny when I look at Essendon, their intentions are right. They're just not able to get the ball into the right players' hands who can, 1, make decisions, 2, use it efficiently, and 3, just making sure that they're in support of other players. At the moment, they look like they're lost. They're playing like a lost side, and you really have to feel for them at the moment. Whereas Brisbane, they're winning their contested footy, which is their number 1 goal. They're creating great space forward. and they are just absolutely giving it to the Bombers.
The margin is 37 points, and we've only just passed the halfway mark of the second quarter. Someone needs to take control of the bus for Essendon. Picked up by Cramery for the Bombers. He puts it inside 50 in the forward pocket. There's Marigliani. He can't quite control it off his hands, and over the line it goes for a throw in. 45 out from the Bombers' goal. City side of the ground at the southern or the Matthew Lloyd end. Boy, they could do with about 3 or 4 Matthew Lloyds at the moment because they're in all sorts, the Bombers.
Hill watches the ball fly past, ends up with Riscatelli, gets tackled, brought to ground, but keeps control of the ball. Watson on his hands and knees, sees it fumble past and flicks it to Brennan. Brennan picks it up and goes down the wing. Perfect ball to Banfield, who kicked the last goal. Lions have kicked the last 4. 50. Lead it by 37, and Banfield will be marched down to about 15 metres out.
But you never came back 3 metres.
So Razor Ray.
They've got to push harder, the Essendon players, inside 50 at the moment. They're just staying with their opponents. That's what happens when it becomes man on man. A lot of players don't work off and don't help their teammates enough, and just because they're under so much pressure, that's what's happening at the moment.
The Lions end up with it in the middle, and then they sweep the ball to Staker, who gets outmarked, and Melksham and Hardingham combine. Ends up with Melksham taking a couple of bounces and put it onto his right boot. He looked inside 50 and he saw 4 Lions. He tumbled the ball to Adcock, and he combines with Hanley, who goes to centre half back to find Brennan, who marks and has just got so much space, draws the players, puts the ball over to the top of the Shermanator. He takes a bounce, now 2, runs over the logo wing out of side, kicks inside 50. His kick equally poor, searched for Jonathan Brown, but found David Hill. And Hill just takes a couple of steps and then goes to Myers, and Myers just does take care of things and marks in front of Howard, plays on, goes short, little ball. Now it's Quinn the target, the Irishman. He can't take it cleanly on the wing. Spills to ground. Bombers have got the numbers. Stanton does well. Handballs to Prismal. Puts him under enormous pressure. The other opposition, number 9, tackled him, but luckily for the Bombers it was...
No, put out the don't argue.
The don't argue. High on McGrath. So McGrath on the wing finds Brendan in the middle of Eddie Hart. He goes onto his left boot and kicks long, hoping for Rich.
A penetrating kick to Rich is being held by one arm. Umpire let it go. Rich grabbed the ball. Handballs to Rockcliffe. He tried to get it to Redden unsuccessfully, and it's off hands and over the line for a throw in. 45 metres out from the Lions' goal. Dockland side of the ground at the northern or Lockett end. Left of your dial if you like, and they are in front by plenty. 53 plays 16. 37 points to margin. Free kick going to Brent Stanton for the Bombers on defensive 50.
This is where they've got to get on their bike.
There's no
they've got to work. They've got to work. This is when it gets tough. This is where you just got to bum down, head down too.
Good kick. Good kick to me. You did that on Thursday night, Crawford. That was your mistake. Dempsey takes the mark on centre wing, kicks half forward, and there is Carlisle again. He shows lots of promise. Wasn't the best handball though, but he's going all right, the youngster. Got the handball off to Quinn, put him immediately under pressure. Hanley comes in, holding the ball, says umpire Chamberlain. It's a free kick going Brisbane's way to Brennan.
What Michael Quinn did wrong, he put himself under pressure too because he went straight to ground. He went straight to ground, Michael Quinn. Needed to keep his feet.
Good race. So I was going to pay 50 because you pushed him. I won't give it to you. Well, that's not the letter of the law, I wouldn't have thought. It's either a 50 or it's not. Selwood gets the ball on the wing, handballs to Power, and it's off his hands. We've got to throw in. Razor Ray really taking control of things out there, Croft.
He does a good job, doesn't he? He gets right into it, and I think the players love him.
Umpire reloads again. Hooker, Brennan beats Hooker to it, knocks it down to Leuenberger. There's a strange combination. Little handball ends up with Redden giving it back to Leuenberger. He kicks to half forward, but the Bombers have got the numbers. Myers tries to get away from Selwood, doesn't try, does. Then puts it onto his left boot. Now a chance for Cole Reamers. Wait for it to settle. Takes on Stiller. Goes one way, then doubles back and comes back inside. Little ball into the middle. Leuenberger might get a fist there. Spoils the Hooker mark. Spills to ground. Power quickly flicks it to Riscatelli. Riscatelli runs from the middle, back to centre half back, handballs to Staker. He takes on Cole Reamers, gets a handball away, ball spills to ground. In the end, Riscatelli does well. He's had a heap of it too. He goes into the middle searching for the skipper. No, it's Black in the middle. He had 16 and Black gets hit.
19 free kicks in the match, 9 of them paid by Razor Ray.
Well played, Razor, as Black finds his man in Polkinghorne. 55 out directly in front. Now it's a long ball. Couple of big men work. Brown, the biggest of them all. Can't take it. Dempsey reads it well off hands. Picks it up. Gives it to Myers. And he goes wide and finds his man, Belinda Carlisle. He starts to run and kicks it down to Cole Reimers. He's got Stiller to beat. Stiller goes up, brings it to ground, falls to McVeigh.
McVeigh on the city side of the ground, wing position, handballs back to Hocking. Gives it off to Cramery. On the left boot to the 50, but it's all Brisbane here. Ball went straight down the throat of McGrath, who's playing a ripping game at the moment on, I think he's on Monfries, isn't he? Well, not at the moment he's not, because Selwood's got the job on Monfries. But McGrath's got the ball on defensive 50 for the Lions. They lead 53-16. Round the grounds, TAC Ash.
Quarters, Port Adelaide leading Melbourne by 36 points, 29 into the third quarter.
Liam Jarrah, please tune in.
Jarrah for Carlton Draft Stats has kicked 4 goals straight.
And can't wait to see his mark on the OPSM replay. Lions just kicking it around down back. It comes back to McGrath, who's got the ball still on defensive 50. He's been told to play on. Handballs to Black. He swings onto that familiar left and kicks into the middle of the ground. There's 3 Lions there. They can raffle it. Redden took the mark. Gives it off to Power. Little fancy chip kick. Wasn't all that flash to the other wing. Oh, big flash.
Well done, Hardingham.
It was Hardingham. He's poleaxed the Lions player. Could be Selwood.
Yep,
Who else would it be? It's always Selwood. It was a huge hit. It was fair. It was good old-fashioned Aussie rules football. Lions had the ball inside defensive 50. McGrath switches to the city side of the ground, and it's taken by Staker. And Selwood is still down. It was a massive, massive hit.
Hardjack hit. I'm just watching Selwood now. He is writhing in pain. He cannot move. He's telling the trainers, don't touch me. He's slowly getting to his feet, but he's like a drunk trying to get off a park bench on a Sunday morning, coughing and gurgling. He's in huge amount of trouble. Meanwhile, the ball worked to the wing on the outer side, and the Bombers somehow win control of it, and they switch the handball into the middle to Marigliani. He goes short. The ball's meant for Jetta. Over the top, Patbull comes, gets a scroll in a hand to it. Rich reads the play, twists through a couple of Bombers, then kicks to the advantage of Black. He marks the ball in front of Monfries as Selwood gets dragged off the ground in the arms of the trainers, and he'll be updated. Robbo will keep us updated on what is happening there as the Bombers rebound off halfback. Watson to Dempsey, puts it into the run of Howlett. Howlett gets beaten to the ball too easily for Rockcliffe. He gives it to Power, and Power switches it to Riscatelli. He comes back inside Cole Reimers. Now he kicks a long ball. A chance for Brown. Don't worry about Brown. Out the back, the big mark is taken by Polkinghorne.
Tell you what, there's not many more tougher or courageous players than Selwood.
Or families.
No. Or families, but Troy Selwood, he is as tough as nails. That was as big a hit as you will ever see.
Both of them there just showed great courage, just went hard at the ball, and both guys need a big pat on the back for just putting their bodies on the line.
How is he, Robbo?
Wants to breathe and can't. Wants to vomit and can't. He's in a really bad way, kid.
Marie Selwood breeds them tough. All 4 of them as Polkinghorne kicks the Lions 9th. They skip away to the biggest lead of the match, 9-5-59. Essendon 2-4-16, 23 gone. Second term Hardjacker scoreboard as we go around the grounds for the TAC, please, Chirp.
Hame, Port Adelaide leading Melbourne by 36 points, nearing three-quarter time. Port 15-5-95.
Let's go down to Robbo for SBC Man-Beans.
Troy Selwood taken straight in the rooms, Hammer. Looks like a half-open pocket knife. Can't straighten up at all, and in a really bad way. Ash Gray in the face, and he'll take some time to recover. Hopefully he hasn't got any bad ribs or anything like that.
Yeah, let's hope there's no internal damage, because that was a really heavy knock.
Yeah, one advantage Brisbane have is they've got Brown down there and they've got Clark, which are great get-out kicks when there's no leads coming at you, whereas Essendon don't have that. Ryder pulling out leaves Hill, has to stay in the ruck, so they just don't have a big man down there just to even make a contest.
They're a rabble at the moment, the Bombers. They're down by 43 points. Dempsey for Essendon kicks rather sloppily to half forward, and it goes over the line for a throw-in.
Quarters, last time Essendon were held goalless in a quarter against Brisbane was round 15, 1996.
Carlton's draft, Carlton Drafts Magnetron gives you a chance to share in $100,000 worth of prizes, so go to carltondraft.com for details. As in defence, Brisbane regained possession. On the Dockland side, Power little chip to half-back, marked by Redden. Redden gives it to Rich to Black, lost the handle. He's not not 100% on his game today, the champion Simon Black. How many for him?
14 touches.
How many effective?
He's going at 83%.
That's not too bad then. As he goes inside 50, a courageous mark. Running back with the flight of the ball taken by Merritt for Brisbane. Lions 59, Essendon 16. 25 ticked over in the second term on the hard Yakka scoreboard.
The Lions have kicked the last 5 goals. You don't really see where the Bombers are going to start to score. Lions at half-back, power to Riscatelli. Kyle Remus stands on the mark. Riscatelli just happy to amble in and kick the ball long down the line. Going back, Leuenberger. Brennan there too with Dempsey. Hill marks. Well, he doesn't. He went to mark. Came off his hands, fell to ground. Dempsey ends up with the ball. Gives it to Prismal. Prismal, little kick to Carlisle, who's been lively. He marks in front of Staker, right on the interchange gates, broadcast side of the ground, kicks inside the middle. A chance for Rockcliffe. He goes back to the flight. Watson to beat. Scoop to Nagel, came back to Rockcliffe. Ends up with a big long handball. Perfect ball to McGrath. McGrath, little chiselling ball. Brown opens up his arms and says, kick it to me. He does, puts him on a reasonable angle. Went to play on. The old knees buckled. He was just happy to lie down and just think about things, go back, and he'll kick a goal from about 15 out. Heap of angle.
Just had a shot of the Essendon box on the OPSM replay screen, boys. Didn't look a particularly happy place in the middle.
Well, it wouldn't be. They're getting absolutely wiped and they just can't score at all. And even a bigger problem there, Jonathan Brown, one of the greatest players of all time, he was 40 metres in the clear, running into your forward 50. I don't know how that happens, and I don't know. You need to pay respect. You need to pay him respect.
He's kicked 8 against the Bombers before. He fires at goal. He's got another. Brown's in rare form in his 200. He could go past 8 this afternoon. He's going really well.
4 goals, 4 he's got.
4-4 this afternoon. 8's his PB against the Bombers. He's got 4 of the 10. They're 10-5, 65. Essendon, 2 goals, 4, 16. 26 gone. Second term hard Yakka scoreboard. And for the TAC, please, Chew, over at Amy.
3-quarter time, Hayne. Port Adelaide leading Melbourne by 37 points.
9 seconds to play here in the half. And the Lions are doing it very, very comfortably. 49 points to lead, which is a game high. Jonathan Brown has had it a heap. He's kicked 4 goals, 4. And True Man, you're one of the great predictors of goal scorers. How many will he end up with?
I reckon he'll equal his PB against the Bombers with 8 majors.
Okay.
Down she goes in the middle. Hill got the tap, looking for Watson. Got the handball away under a lot of pressure. And we'll have a stoppage here. Boy, oh boy. What a story for the Bombers unfolding this afternoon.
No guarantees.
Just when we thought they couldn't get any worse, they have. Disaster. Absolute disastrous first half for the Essendon Football Club. They are being smashed by a team 14th on the ladder. Essendon 13th with 7 wins. Brisbane 14th with 6 wins. And what happened if they won the last 10 weeks? 1. And they are getting
2. They beat Collingwood, and then the other week they got home against the Eagles. They won 2 of 15 or something.
2 of 16.
2 of their last 16, Brisbane, and they are embarrassing Essendon. The margin at half-time is 49 points. The Lions 10-5-65, Essendon 2-4-16. For Brisbane, Jonathan Brown in his 200th game has kicked 4 goals, 4. 2 goals to Banfield, including the Karcher goal of the day, and singles to Clark, Adcock, Brennan and Polkinghorne. For Essendon, 2 goal scorers, both rookies. One playing his first game and the other man playing his second game. That is the story of the day. 1 to Carlisle and 1 to Magliani. All right, Essendon fans, if you're listening in, get on the phone again. What do you think at half-time? Vent your spleen. You would not be a happy camper at the moment if you're an Essendon supporter. Get on the phone and tell us what needs to be done. Who needs to lift in the second half? Who needs to put their hand up and drive the bus? Thanks to McDonald's. Triple M. Rocks football.
This quarter was brought to you by Hard Yakka. For over 75 years, nothing's tougher.
For McDonald's.
Triple M rocks football.
We've brought back the original, world-famous Triple M Triple Play. And this time, it's worth $100 cash. When you hear these 3 songs... played back-to-back in any order, call and win. Triple M's $100 triple play. Playing from tomorrow across your workday on Triple M.
To help launch the new 4 and 20 legendary Angus meat pie, we've invited world-renowned Angus cow breeder Lachlan McTavish to say a few words about our delicious Angus beef. Lachlan?
Well, it's a right wheat beef got on a beef and a goot and a cow's in the back. I got to shock him 11, totally frank my situation, and it's come through in the back nine.
Really? Only certified Australian Angus beef?
Aye, that's right, but I'm a human but got and bottle Angus like.
Yeah, so true. I don't think anyone could disagree with that. The new 4 and 20 legendary Angus. Available now.
Drum roll. Introducing Macca's new Angus the Third. It's a limited edition. First, a thick, succulent slab of Australia's favourite Angus. Then, the piece de resistance, the sauce. They call this punchy tomato chili creation tomato chili relish. Add some tasty salad, and it's no wonder McDonald's Angus is the beef on everyone's lips. Macca's Angus the Third. It's the hot new taste and a little bit fancy. Available after 10:30am for a limited time.
Good policy requires more than good intentions, but governments can rush into policies without evidence they'll work. There was no real evidence that Fuel Watch or Grocery Watch would bring down prices, did it? No real evidence that the Alcopops tax would reduce binge drinking, did it? Now they say putting cigarettes in plain packaging will stop people smoking, even though this idea was rejected in the UK and Canada, and there's no real evidence it will work. Think it through. Good policy requires more than good intentions.
Authorised by R Stand and Alliance of Australian Retailers Sydney. Spoken by M. Robinson and P. David Goddard.
Why risk buying a car from anywhere else? Car City has thousands of cars. All come with a free 12-month extended national warranty and roadside assist. Plus, Car City can fit brand new LP gas for every rebate-eligible car buyer. Car City has the car you want with the peace of mind you deserve.
Your eyes open for
Car City Ringwood, 415 Maroondah Highway and at carcity.com.au.
Does your web designer have an asymmetrical haircut? Does he wear a bow tie to be ironic? And does he charge extra because it's Monday? Then you need to talk to Sites and Stores. They make it easy and affordable to create your website. In fact, they can create a new one for you from as little as $397 or an online store from just $797. Call Sites and Stores on 1300 796 530 or visit getarealquote.com.au.
How do you unlock the Lockwood toolbox? You could try drilling it, sawing it, or even using a jackhammer. But the only way to unlock it is with the key. Unlock the Lockwood toolbox and win concert tickets, power tools, cash and more. To enter, go to unlockthetoolbox.com.au and register your worksite. The Triple M Street team could rock up with truckloads of prizes thanks to Lockwood. Unlock the Lockwood toolbox. Enter now at unlockthetoolbox.com.au. If you haven't locked up with Lockwood, have you really locked up?
The 2010 AFL season is proudly brought to you by Toyota. Toyota Footy. Oh, what a feeling.
For McDonald's.
Triple M rocks football. This halftime break is brought to you by Fair Income Sheds. Real sheds, real value.
Quarter time, the Lions led by 20. They lead by 49 at half time. Jonathan Brown in his 200 has 4 goals for. He's flying along. It is going to be a long afternoon for the Bombers and Bombers fans. Two-man, we have some Triple M Carlton Draft stats. Carlton Draft's Magnetron gives you a chance to share in $100,000 worth of prizes. Go to carltondraft.com for details. Jay Brown must be close to the highest ranked player on the ground.
You're right in the money. He is with his 15 disposals, 12 marks and 4 goals for. Just some other leading ball winners for the Lions, 19 to Riscatelli and 17 to Rich. The low numbers for the Bombers, Jobe Watson, he's had 11 possessions but he's going at 50% efficiency. Had 2 disposals inside the last 15 minutes of that second quarter. Stanton just the 10, McVeigh 5 and Angus Monfridge just the 2. Just some team stats. The Bombers have posted their lowest half-time score ever against Brisbane at 2 goals for 16. They were held goalless in that second term. First time they've been held goalless against the Lions since 1996. A couple of team stats. Brisbane 10 more inside 50s. Uncontested marks in the forward half of the ground. 32 to 8 Brisbane's way. In fact, 7 out of their 10 goals have come from marks. And for the TAC Herald Sun Supercoach ranking points, Brown 102 and Leuenberger with 77.
Well played, too. We're going to do something very unusual for Triple M. We're taking calls at half-time. 133353, 133353. The IGA Liquor open line is open. Few callers on. Just hold on for a little bit. We're just having with the OPSM replay screen. Keep your eyes on the ball this season with OPSM, official eye care partner of the AFL. That Selwood hit, Chief Crawford, was unbelievable, wasn't it? Terrible result.
Great courage from both players, though.
Unbelievable result. McDonald's limited edition Angus the Third Burger Chew Man is a juicy slab of Australia's favourite Angus, as you know. But you know that it's got punchy tomato chili relish as well.
Is that right?
It's a little bit fancy.
Yeah.
Time for some callers. Chris from Knox, thanks for calling in. 133353. Jump on the line. Jason Dunstall and Shane Crawford here to take your call. Chris, how do you think the Bombers are travelling?
Okay, guys. Look, I think they're not travelling that well today, but I'm just, I listened to the whole pre-game. I'm a massive fan. I'm 24 years old. I've been Kevin Sheedy my whole life, and now Knights the last few years. I'd just rather not hear so much disappointment or, you guys just bagging us out the whole time. I know we're not playing that well, but the young guys coming through. Carlisle's had 8 grabs. Marigliani's kicked his first goal. There are a lot of positives there still, and I'd rather not us worry so much about the negatives all the time. You see the new Geelong guys that come in, they're Menzel and Hunt, they're playing in a star-studded team and they have that lot of confidence, they can go for their grabs and everything, but for the young Bombers coming into a side that, was losing their bottom teams on the ladder, it's a lot more difficult. And the other thing, last one is, I hope Knights keeps Hurley on Brown all day because I hope he gives him a lesson that, it'll really make Michael Hurley, I think, today. If he stays on Brown, he just works through the 4 quarters.
Yeah, you make some very good points, Chris, and we're certainly not just trying to bag out Essendon all day. We've just got to call it as it happens out on the ground, and we call a poor kick a poor kick. But there are some players getting valuable experience. I agree. Jake Carlisle's looked very, very impressive, and even more so given the fact that it's he's doing it in a team that's getting dominated on the day. Michael Hurley's going to learn a hell of a lot playing on Jonathan Brown. So, look, there are a lot of things they'll take out of the game. It's just that not every supporter sees it, unfortunately, as rationally as you do, Chris. But, let's just keep the fingers crossed that the Bombers can find a little more in the second half.
Great call, Chris. 133353. Get on the phone, Shane Crawford and Jason Dunst. Before we take the next caller for the TAC belt up or suffer the pain too, what's happening at Amy?
Port Adelaide by 44 points over Melbourne. 4 minutes into the final quarter.
Thanks, Stu. Gary from Rye, thanks for calling in at half-time.
G'day, boys. I called up about 6 or 8 weeks ago and outlined the reasons why I thought Matty Knights was probably the wrong choice as coach, and let's not just get on the bandwagon and bag him unmercifully. But I said to myself before today that if the players laid down, they were sending a message to Knights and everybody else. And I'd be interested on your comments whether they've just given up and they don't want to win for this bloke.
I don't think it's for the coach. No. I think when you look at it, they've got so many inexperienced players there, and they're all doing quite well. I reckon when you look at players like Momphreys hasn't done much today, Reemers hasn't got into the game, Nagel, Hurley, it's great experience for him playing on Jonathan Brown, because if he does push forward eventually, he'll learn so much from playing on a quality player like that. So Slattery needs to get into the game a bit more. So I don't think it's the young fellas. I don't think they're making a statement. I just think that's where they're at the moment. They're up against the Brisbane Lions side, who are playing for their captain today, and he means the world to them. He's been an absolute star of that side, and they're sending a statement that, they're right behind him and they want to have a good victory. I'd be very surprised if they don't come out and show some real fight in this next half from the Bombers' point of view. They need to win the contested ball, but most of all, they've got to get the ball into the right players' hands who can make good decisions pushing forward, because at the moment they're just turning the ball over too much. So you work so hard to get the footy and then you give it straight back, and that just kills you in today's footy. So if they can get the right decision makers kicking the ball, they can work their way back into the game, and I don't think they're making a statement towards the coach.
Thanks for your calls. If you'd like to send a text, please just punch it through 1999 1051, 1999 1051 if you want to make a comment about the game or anything that's happened this weekend or the finals that are just around the corner. Shane Crawford and Jason Dunstall here to take your text. Time now, though, for a break. It's the halftime break here for Fair Dinkum Sheds. Here's Duncan McKenzie with another M Sport update for iSelect. Get a policy to suit you without the runaround. Call 13 19 88 or just jump online, iselect.com.au. All yours, Duncan.
Good on you, Hammer. Well, as the Bombers find themselves up against it again, Essendon CEO Ian Robson has told Triple M Footy that spirits will remain high around Windy Hill and the poor on-field form won't affect them off it.
We're not suffered. We're a strong club, Quarters. We've got people who are resolute. And, yeah, right now, if you were to ask impulsive questions about, are you upset? But when the summer comes and the green shoots of recovery for a new season emerge, our people will be back bigger and louder than ever.
As in battle, Bombers coach Matthew Knights faces uncertainty over how long he'll stay. Brisbane coach Michael Voss says he can understand what he's going through.
For the family, we're completely 100% all invested in it, and you can't help but ride the emotions up and down throughout the weeks, and your family has an impact on that.
In live A-League matches, Melbourne Victory and North Queensland are goalless midway through the second half at Amy Park, while Wellington stretched its unbeaten record at home to 21 matches with a 1-0 win over Newcastle. And Pakistan skipper Salman Butt says after playing both Australia and England in the past 6 weeks, he's backing Ricky Ponting's men to win back the Ashes this summer.
Introducing Macca's limited edition Angus III, with a juicy slab of Australia's favourite Angus and a punchy tomato chili relish. It's a little bit fancy.
Coming up, all the action from the second half, and that's thanks to iSelect. For a quick and easy quote on your car insurance, call 13 19 20 or visit iselect.com.au. At the half, it's the Lions by 49 points over the Bombers, as thanks to McDonald's, Triple M rocks football.
This halftime break was brought to you by Fair Dinkum Sheds. Real sheds, real value.
For McDonald's,
Triple M rocks football.
Hi, Luke Darcy from Triple M's Hot Breakfast. Julia Gillard really endeared herself to me last week with this comment.
I'm a Western Bulldogs girl. We can all hate Collingwood. I think that's fair enough, isn't it?
Ed wasn't as impressed, so Julia Gillard got on the phone to make amends.
Eddie, I'm a politician with principles, so I had to stick with my Bulldogs.
That's okay. Well, all we want you to do is to pay the principal for Collingwood. Triple M's Hot Breakfast. We're back tomorrow from 6.
For ANZ credit cards, visit anz.com and you can get your credit card debt under control.
I was talking to some builders the other day and they said, "You're not one of the clowns on the radio that does the ads." And I said to them, "I sure am. And not only are we dedicated to what we do, but all the stories are true. We are there for our builders, and with over 20 years of experience in the industry, we have the knowledge to back that up."
It has to be, it has to be, it has to be.
It has to be Bourne.
So call the boys from Bourne. That's me, Andrew, on 1300 Bourne, and ask for the trade desk. Because at Bourne Bathroom and Kitchen Centres, we're there for our builders.
A nice big red.
That's how I like it.
A cheeky little shardy.
An icy cold beer.
At IGA Liquor, we know what our customers like.
Cold fridges.
Hot deals.
Big smiles.
We listen to our locals and we deliver exactly what they want.
I lift to my car.
My favourite mix.
A tiny little price.
IGA Liquor stocks all the local favourites and backs it up with low prices every day.
You gotta like that.
That's how I like it.
IGA Liquor, how the locals like it.
How do you unlock the Lockwood toolbox? You could try drilling it, sawing it, or even using a jackhammer. But the only way to unlock it is with the key. Unlock the Lockwood toolbox and win concert tickets, power tools, cash and more. To enter, go to unlockthetoolbox.com.au and register your worksite. The Triple M Street team could rock up with truckloads of prizes thanks to Lockwood. Unlock the Lockwood toolbox. Enter now at unlockthetoolbox.com.au. If you haven't locked up with Lockwood, have you really locked up?
Hey, check it out. The new 111 tool chest and trolley.
Whoa!
Got my first 111 toolbox nearly 10 years ago. She's still in great nick. And I want you to have her.
Oh, thanks, boss.
Oh, but this new one, she's a beauty. Powder-coated finish, rolled edges, real quality.
It's beautiful, boss.
For your nearest retailer and to see the mighty 111 tool chest and trolley range, go to 111.com.au. That's 1-11.com.au.
111, leading the way.
Hip Pocket Workwear and Safety introduces a new name, Johnson Workwear. Johnson Workwear is rugged and built to last, with triple needle stitching on all seams and pockets that won't wear out. Johnson trousers and shorts have self-material tough pockets for guaranteed strength. See the Johnson Workwear range today at Hip Pocket Workwear and Safety's 5 locations: Mornington, Geelong, Thomastown, Laverton and Craigieburn. Or visit hippocketworkwear.com.au.
Ladybird, ladybird, what have you seen?
Follow the ladybird to Garden World and discover more than just a garden centre. Discover a world of greenery, from the smallest plant to the tallest tree, all at low prices. A world of difference with a huge selection of gardening products and a world of advice from Melbourne's best gardening team. The world is at the gardener's feet at Garden World, one of the largest nurseries in the Southern Hemisphere. 5 minutes from Eastlink at 810 Springvale Road, Braeside, or shop at gardenworld.com.au.
Shut up! The foot is on the radio!
For McDonald's.
Triple M rocks football. This quarter is brought to you by Harvey Norman, the 3D TV destination. Come in for a 3D TV experience.
Hope you've enjoyed your weekend wherever you are. Here at Etihad Stadium, the Lions 10-5 lead Essendon 2-4. The margin is 49 points. I think, Two-Man, that is a game high because there was a late goal coming to the Bombers and they're flying along.
Yes, it is a game high because Bombers were held goalless in that quarter for Carlton Draft.
Extraordinary result looming here. And,
same in the Little League, Haim. I had a look at the Little League and the Lions were on fire there as well. So very disappointing day for the Bombers.
Just had a look at the OPSM replay screen. Do you think Liam Jarrah has taken Mark of the Year away from Brendan Goddard not even 24 hours after he dominated?
Certainty.
Done?
Absolute certainty for Mark of the Year.
I know. We'll focus on this match for a moment. Interesting calls at half-time before the break. Get off the Bombers' back. There's some promising signs. They're limited, the promising signs. A couple of the youngsters are going well. But Jason Dunstall, Shane Crawford, what are the positives to come out of the Essendon Football Club in the first half, if there are any? And what needs to change? I know the result won't change in the second half, but in regard to game plan and attitude of the players.
The positive, Jason, is another half.
That's one way of looking at it. We've also got to remember they've got a lot of established players out. If you look at Zaharakis, Winderlich, Welsh, Fletcher's not there, Gumbleton's not there, Dyson's not there, Alan Davies not there, Sam Lonigan's not there. There's a number of players that would be in their best 22. Tate Pears isn't there.
Ryder.
Paddy Ryder was a late withdrawal today.
James Hird.
So
Paul Vanderhaar.
A large number. In all seriousness, we just named 8 or 10 of their best 22. So that means you're getting games into players that normally probably wouldn't be playing. Great experience for them. And we've seen someone like Jake Carlisle, who I think you've just got to get as many games into as you can because he looks a star in the making.
It's a positive, isn't it?
A big, tall bloke, but he moves beautifully. Got great pair of hands. Haven't seen too much of the sort of disposal we'd probably like to see, but some of that's come from the fact that every time he's got his turned around, there's nothing to kick to, so he's just had to kick it long to a contest.
To your point then, Jace, Fremantle had 10 of their starting lineup out yesterday. There's going to have to be very close to 10 in those names you've just named that would walk into this side. So 116 points yesterday, the Dockers got pantsed by the Hawks, but as you go through them, Zaharakis, Winderlich, Pears, Lovett, Murray, Gumbleton and the players that you mentioned, it's a huge void to fill when you're not going well anyway.
It is, and all of a sudden it means that there's a player like Jonathan Brown dominating for Brisbane. There's experienced players like Black and Power running around. Aside from Jobe Watson, who's not having a particularly good day, there are just no clear class players out there that can actually do something about it.
They're premiership players. They're players who have dominated in a side that was one of the best sides of all time. So they've got so much experience.
Interesting.
On
looks like
the Essendon side.
Mark McVeigh is going to start in the middle in this second half. And look, we heard Robbo say that he went to the bench early in the game and he was particularly upset. I reckon a couple of times he got the ball in the last line of defence. He looked up and there wasn't much to kick to. Players weren't working hard enough to make options. He kicked one out in the full trying to pinpoint a lateral pass. And I think he was getting very frustrated with the way the rest of the team was going as well. So, they've had time to reflect on it at half time. They would have gone through a few of the stats, and when they have a look at them in the cold light of day, they're going to say, gee, we're a long way off the pace. So a big team effort improvement needed from all of them.
Interesting text coming through. Reimers needs to lose the boots and the attitude and play for the team. McVeigh in the centre. I think Nagel should be traded. What do you guys think as the umpire bounces at the start of the second half?
And Leuenberger got the first tap of the second half to Redden. Couldn't quite control it.
Ball spills to Rich. He's wrapped up the tackle, and we'll have another bounce in the middle as we go down to Michael Roberts.
Troy Selwood at this stage not going to hospital, which is a good sign.
Good.
But they've told us that he will not continue in this game at this stage. So he's still a sick boy and really struggled apparently in the surgery in the dugout.
All right, so at least it looks like there's no serious injury, which is the main thing, but very shaken and very stirred. As the ball's still in dispute in the middle of Etihad Stadium here. Finally it spills to Quinn. Gets the handball off to Hardingham. Now Neagle. Can't break the tackle. Forced a handball hurriedly. Ball going nowhere at the moment. And umpire Chamberlain will come in and effect a bounce on the City side of the ground. Wing position on the Toyota logo.
I reckon McVeigh's laid about 3 tackles since his third quarter has started. And they're actually tackling with real intent, the Bombers, so they've certainly got a rev up for this third quarter.
Hill knocks it down to Watson. He has it wrestled away. In the end, Rockcliffe picks up the ball and kicks inside 50. Brown, the target, can't take it. Fist comes. Ball spills out the back. Now a chance if it settles. It does for Hardingham. Picks up the loose ball, goes over the top to Hooker. Quickly, he gives the ball off to Slatter. He's still at half-back. He skips onto his left boot. Melksham's the target. Power does well. Effects the spoil. Spills out to Sherman. Power's hurt. Little ball over the top from Sherman to Banfield. Half-forward Black. Hard up against the boundary line. Little ball. Perfect to Brown. He marks 20 out, 55-degree angle. Not favouring his right boot, but he's in good form today.
And they all run to Luke Power.
Yeah. The old Warrior gets up, gets plenty of pats on the head, the little man, as Brown just stretches the hamstring and gets moved around by the umpire in his 200.
And that's just skill level there. Slattery got the ball, just needed to keep the ball a bit lower and put it out in front of Melsham, and unfortunately it just popped up a bit too high. Lukey Power come in, and they just need to address that, keep the ball lower, use it better, and they go down the other end.
4-4 is now 4-5 for Jonathan Brown as he puts it across the face. One behind only. The result 10-6-66. Essendon 2-4. 16. It is a 50-point lead. First minute of this third term Harvey Norman scoreboard. 13
marks for Jonathan Brown, and his PB is 17, so he's certainly on target.
He sure is. Brennan from the side, almost a spectacular one-hander, but the Lions are going to pump it back inside 50, but poor kick by Brennan, just blazed away. So no one in particular. Slattery for the Bombers. Nothing on offer. He's going to have to switch. It might be a disaster. It's almost a disaster. Banfield in the forward pocket's got it. Handballs into the goal square. There's no one home for either team. It runs across the face. Slattery's there again. Now Melksham. Back to Slattery by hand. Gives it to Hurley. Hurley back to Melksham. Backs himself. Now throws it onto the left. Back to the wing. Remus with the fancy boots. Completely outplayed by Patfull. Takes a comfortable mark. Handball's off to Power. Power kicks to the wing and it's marked by McGrath. He's having a very good year for the Brisbane Lions. Kicks to half forward and mark is taken by Daniel Rich. He's got Brown on the lead. He ignores him. Rich coming up for his 18th disposal.
He swings onto the left boot. Long penetrating ball inside 50. Great ball, just falls short of Brown. Hurley doubles back, gets there first, paddles the ball towards the boundary line. He keeps it in. Little handball's okay to Monfries. Monfries over the top to Quinn, who is a late in. Gets tackled. Polkinghorne tries to drag him to ground. Gets a little handball forward. Tough one for all players. They collide against each other. Spills backwards to Redden. Redden fires it to Adcock. He misses it. Riscatelli picks it up. Puts it onto his left boot. Goes inside 50. Ball bounces back outside 50. Rockcliffe does well. Nice little paddling ball. In the end, Redden tried to find a lonesome Jonathan Brown, but the kick was sport and went over the boundary line. 60 around from the Lions'
But there's
goal.
a classic case. It was a really good spoil from Hurley, Jason, and no one player went up to him and patted him on the backside and said, well done. About 3 players just looked at him.
It was an important smother because Brown had doubled back after initially losing the contest and was going to get a chip pass. He was all on his own.
There's not much love out there for Essendon as the Lions drive it to the goal square. Off hands through for a rush behind.
Would have shepherded him through if he wanted to. Mitch Clark went the mark.
Not only that, Hurley's worked so hard to try and offer some run, but all of a sudden he's got no energy to get back on Jonathan Brown, so he needs to be smarter about that.
Hooker takes a couple of bounces, sort of runs at full pace and then unable to kick the ball accurately and just puts it onto his left. Goes at 45 degrees to the body, and he kicks it out of bounds on the wing, proper outer side. City side, 67 plays 16. It's a 51-point lead to the Lions. We've played just on 4.5 minutes in this third term. The Harvey Norman scoreboard sees the Lions by the biggest lead of the day in 51.
Jetta for Essendon puts them inside 50. A long bomb, fisted away by Stiller. Fall of the ball as Merritt just suckers off the ground. Only as far as Cramry. Can't get a clear handball away. Now it spills to Patfell. He can't control either. Milksham locks up. Handball's off to McVeigh. McVeigh on the left puts it inside 50. Monfries gets the free kick. Free kick to Angus Monfries. What are his Carlton draft stats, Ash Stewart, for Angus Monfries? Directly in front, 30 metres out from goal.
Quarter's just at 3 disposals.
Yeah, hasn't touched it.
What I liked about that play, you got McVeigh who got the ball in the middle. He had options out wide, but he said, no, we're just going to kick it in, put them under pressure, and that's exactly what they did. Slattery, who's got it there? Monfries. He just used his body beautifully. He just said, well, you've got your back turned to me. I'm just going to run and make contact with you. He gets a free kick. Just get it in nice and quick. I like the way they've started this quarter.
At the northern end, Monfries directly in front, drives it home for a goal. Essendon's third goal for the match. 2 in the first quarter, goalless in the second term. They get one in the third quarter, courtesy of a free kick to Angus Monfries. On the Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard, talk to Harvey Norman's experts about 3D TV, the ultimate home theatre experience with stunning pictures and awesome sound. Lions 10-7-67, Essendon move on to 3-4-22, the margin 45 points.
That's the advantage of a bit of experience in the midfield. Mark McVeigh has gone from defence, middle of the ground, and what he did was make the right decision, as you said, Corp. He looked at the options and he picked the right one and then he executed. That's what, unfortunately, a lot of the young players that haven't got experience and don't feel like they've got the time to actually sum up what the best option is will just go with their first thought, and quite often it's the wrong one.
The Monfries goal breaks a run of 6 goals to the Lions as the Essendon side come through the middle again. Howlett ducks through a couple of lines and sweeps a handball to Stanton. He finds himself on the wing. Dockland side fires it into Monfries. Off hands, Merritt ends up with it in his belly, gets tackled, the ball gets held to him. Patford put the tackle on, ends up spilling out wide to Jetta. Jetta fires a handball to Angus Monfries. He goes around the corner. How does it bounce? Not great. Hits the post and the ground at the same time and comes back into play. Chelsea Roffey says 1 behind. Brisbane Lions 67, Essendon 23. We've got 14 to play in this third term Harvey Norman scoreboard.
Kick to Riscatelli. He's under the pump from Remus and goes over the line for throw-in. 70 metres out from the Essendon goal and the City side of the ground. Around the grounds for the TAC, Ash.
Quarters, Port Adelaide leading Melbourne by 42 points, 24 into the final quarter.
Big win coming up for the Power. Will that be enough to get Matthew Primus the job? Redden for Brisbane on the left boot, kicks to half forward. Brown wrestles with Hurley. Brown on the second bite, can't take the mark. Didn't have it, free kick against Hurley, no doubt about that. So Jonathan Brown's got the free kick with the sun going straight to his face. Drills it long, looking for Brennan. Good mark. Jared Brennan in front of Courtney Dempsey takes a beauty. Strong overhead, and he will line up directly in front, 40 metres out at the Lloyd end of the ground.
It's a tough opponent for Courtney Dempsey. Let's be honest, Jared Brennan's played as a ruckman at different stages. Courtney Dempsey's your mid-sized defender, normally plays on a faster, smaller type of forward, and he's going to find himself with his hands full if he's got to try and match Jared Brennan in the air.
Jared Brennan's kicked 1 goal, 1 this afternoon. His numbers are, Ash?
Carlton draft stats, 11 possessions, 5 marks.
Will he be at the Lions next year? That's the big question. He stats at the ball. It's a horrible kick. And he just squeezed it home from 1 behind.
Bombers bring it back into play. Little ball ends up with Brisbane back pocket for the Bombers. He looks to the wing on the broadcast side. Now kicks long. Hills to target. Couple of flying. Harding, big leap over the top. In the end, it falls to Carlisle, who's been impressive in his second game. To Marigliani, little handball back inside. Ends up with Hooker. He gives it off. Ball ends up with Hardingham. Now to Howlett. Howlett inside. Marigliani again gets through a couple of lines and then handballs to Hurley, who runs. Sherman tries to run him down. Monfries the target now inside 50. He's got a couple of lines to beat. Adcock fists the ball forward. Ends up rebounding back to Monfries. He gives the ball off to Cramry. He fires at goal. Has it been touched? No, it might just bounce through. Chelsea late signal, touched 1 behind.
Get the boundaries in. Hold on. Get the boundaries in. Did you see any
Chelsea twice today, haven't they?
And she stood tough every time.
She's made the decision, but communication's a good thing.
Yep, very good. Chelsea one behind the result, touched off Pierce Hanley. Scoreline 68-24 in favour of the Lions. 12 and a half to play, third term. Harvey Norman scoreboard for the TAC. Let's go around the grounds, please, True.
Port Adelaide by 42 points over Melbourne, 26 into the final quarter.
OPSM replay screen. Hard to tell, but she was perfectly positioned to make the decision, Chelsea Robbie.
And confident too, which we like. Marks inside 50. Brisbane are at 14. Essendon are at 3.
Speaking of marks, Jonathan Brown's just snaffled another one, Ash.
That's mark number 14, Quarters.
What's his career best? 17?
17, yep.
So he's going to smash that, you reckon? He's going to stay out there for, I think, every minute of this 200th game. He's having a belting afternoon. He's kicked 4 goals, 5. The Lions well in front as they work it to half forward, city side of the ground. Mark taken by Black. 15th disposal for Simon Black. Triple premiership player, Brownlow medalist. Buck that one up, Brisbane, but Black gets it back and kicks towards Rockcliffe, who takes a good mark. Handballs to Rich, gives it back to Rockcliffe, who stabs into the pocket, looking for Riscatelli, but chipping in and knocking it over the line was Reemers. So throw it into the Lions' forward pocket. Southern end of the ground, or right of your dial. It's on the city side. And the Brisbane Lions lead 68-24.
Hill and Lundberger doing the ruck work. Hill knocks it back over his shoulder. Dempsey reads the play pretty well, grabs the ball but gets tackled at the same time, and Razor Ray says, I'll have to bounce the ball. 30 out from the Lions' goal. Still in sunshine, just as the sun heads around to the west and casts the shadow into the middle of Etihad. Chance now for Hooker to go crashing through. Ball spills to ground. Underneath it all is a line. A couple of Bombers sit on top. True.
Just with Carlisle, he's racked up 11 disposals. He's taken 9 marks, but 4 of those contested for Carlton Draft.
What Essendon have done here, they've just flooded into the forward line of the Brisbane Lions just to get a lot of numbers. No time and space in there.
Leuenberger to Rockcliffe, smothered by Hooker. He tries to get through a few. Ball still 30 out from the Lions' goal. In dispute on the ground. A heap of players. Umpires whistle goes to do it all again. Full time at Amy for the TAC, please, True.
Port Adelaide winning by 29 points. Port 17-10, 112 to Melbourne 11-17, 83.
Belt up or suffer the pain.
Ball up, deep in the Brisbane Lions attacking territory. Handball comes out to Hill, who weighs up the options and doesn't waste it. Oh, he kicked to Jeddah, who spilt the beans. He gets it back, though. Full credit to Jeddah. They didn't give up. Legal gets driven into the ground. Holding the ball, says the crowd.
In the back.
In the back.
That was Ray Chamberlain who paid that from further down behind play.
Whereas the other umpire was only 10 metres away there. He was in perfect shot.
Wasn't in the back.
Didn't award it.
Wasn't in the back. Bad overall there. Essendon working back to the Dockland side. Mark's taken at half forward by Michael Quinn. He goes short and kicks to Myers.
Essendon got a lot of numbers back here, so he's just got to try and pick it out.
Myers kicks backwards again. Taken by Hardingham. So now he's going to pump it long to the tip of the goal scorer and hope for the best. It's a long ball. A big pack fly. Doing the crumbing as McGrath for the Lions. On the right boot, just want to kick a handballs and puts a teammate right over the pump. That was Rockcliffe. Essendon get it back. Myers, 55 from goal. Threats a handball to Stanton, but he just blazed away and put it straight down to the throw to Brent Snaker, who kicks unwisely back to the Dockland side, but spilling the mark was Hardingham, and that allows power into the picture. He mops up for Brisbane and goes short to Rich.
Left footer to left footer. Rich sweeps the handball to Black. Another left. He goes backwards to Rich at half back. He takes on Watson and goes backwards to Staker, who's in the defensive 50 for the Lions. He takes a bounce. No one near him. He can sort of relax it a little and sweep the handball to McGrath. McGrath in the middle of Etihad. Goes into the sunshine. Now kicks inside 50. Targets Brown again. Going in front is Hooker, who marks. Wins this one against Jonathan Brown. Better position and sweeps the kick out wide to Jeddah, who goes onto his right foot and then kicks to an unmarked bomber down the line. It's Nagel, who's a long way from home on the wing proper. He kicks to Reemers, who's got Rich to beat. Reemers goes up. Couldn't take it cleanly. Spilt to Watson. He finds some space and then handles back to Reemers. He fires at goal. Long ball, bouncing ball. Nice finish from Kyle Reemers. Bombers get their fourth. Kyle gets his first. The Lions still lead it pretty comfortably. 10-8, 68. Bombers 4-6, 30 the margin. Is 38 points, 8.5 to go, third term.
Well, they're thinking about it now. They're actually thinking once they get the footy. They're looking at options. They go, no, when there's any doubt, we're just going to go long and direct. And that's what Remus did there. He had a look and he said, no, there's space right where I want to kick it. So that's what I'm going to do. And he just slotted it straight through. So good play, Bombers. They're going okay this quarter. They're certainly putting in a much improved effort from that first half.
Well, 2 goals to nothing. They'd like to kick a few more goals quickly, but at least they've stopped the hemorrhaging at the other end as well. And that's by winning a little bit more ball through the middle of the ground.
Nice tap by Hill, but McVeigh kicks it up and under. Camped underneath it is Stiller. He couldn't take the mark. Nice spin out of trouble by Patfull. Just released the ball in the nick of time. Now the Lions have numbers in the midfield. Stiller again. Nice tackle by Jeddah. He won the ball back for his team. Gets a handball to Quinn. He gives it back to Jeddah, who kicks to the 50 looking for Hill. He's spoiled by Merritt. McVeigh attacks it. But intercepting is Patfull. Good stuff from the Lions defender. Wasn't a good kick though. It spills now to Camery, who kicks into the forward pocket. Monfries against McGrath. Boundary line beats them both. Throw in. 35, 40 metres out from the Bombers' goal, but they're starting to attack and starting to look a whole lot better. They have a lot of work to do though. It's the Lions leading still by 38 points.
And they're winning the contested ball 20 to Brisbane's 18, which is great.
Harvey Norman's scoreboard. We've been going 16.5 in the third term.
Lions at half back. Sherman on his hands and knees fires a handball to Power. He goes back inside. A little under Stiller. Little under Rockcliffe, who goes onto his boot and finds touch with the ball. Goes down the boundary line. Goes out in between wing and half forward for the Bombers. Dockland side of the ground as Cramry comes off and Howlett goes on. 68 plays 30, 38-point lead to the Lions. Game high, please, Stu, for the Lions.
Carlton draft stats, the biggest lead of the game, 51 points.
Hill, Leuenberger, 0-all draw. Ball goes to ground. People players jump on top of each other. It'll be very tough to get out. And the umpire blows his whistle and he'll bounce 60 out from the Essendon goal. 2 goals to zip in this third term in favour of the Essendon Football Club after a very lean second term where they didn't score a goal at all.
Hill attack, nicely done to Watson, who kicks inside 50, beautiful pass. Neagle spilt the beans. Bad miss again from Jay Neagle. Not good enough. And Lions come away with the football. Staker drills it long, looking for Brown. One out with Hurley. Rolls into the forward pocket. Brown paddles. Hurley desperate. Knocked it towards the line and it's eventually taken over by Polkinghorn as we get down to Michael Roberts.
Hugh, I've just noticed the Brisbane doctor has come out of the rooms down in the forward pocket at the locket end and sprinted the entire boundary to get to Doc Reed from Essendon. Doc Reed has grabbed an emergency bag and gone down into the dugout, into the rooms, I'd say, to be treating Troy Selwood.
Okay, I'm just having a look down there. Yeah, the 2 doctors are down there and he's getting something out of the bag. It looks like he's actually, what Doc Reed's doing, he's giving him some pills, I think. So obviously some sort of painkillers. So nothing too serious, we hope, Robbo, but well spotted. But it looks like he just dished out some drugs to the visiting doctor. Maybe he didn't carry everything down from Brisbane.
Good stuff though, Robbo.
Dempsey to Carlisle, back pocket to back pocket. Carlisle goes searching for Melksham, can't find him. Staker, ball spills his way. He goes to Banfield with a handball. Hocking did well, took on Banfield, crashed together, body spilled, ball spills out to Remus, but Remus has given away a free kick high on Todd Banfield. He'll fire the ball back inside 50. He's about 65 out, hard up against the boundary line. Dockland side, 68 plays 30, 38-point lead to the Lions, 6.5 to play third term.
Having a look at the OPSM replay, there wasn't a great deal in it. He certainly made the umpire aware of it,
Banfield plays on, takes on Hocking, gives it to Rich. Rich sells a dummy, goes back inside 50, fires a goal, but ball started on line, then drew like a good ball does on the golf course, but just a little bit too much. One behind only the result. 69 plays 30, 39-point lead to the Lions. 6 to play third term. Harvey Norman scoreboard. Eddie had a beautiful day for football. Just keeping you updated over at Amy for the TAC two-man.
Port Adelaide defeated Melbourne by 29 points.
Carlisle's got the mark for Essendon on defensive 50, city side of the ground. Essendon going left of your dial in this third quarter. He goes to Stanton, who gives the handball to Quinn, who kicks to the wing, and the mark is taken by Marigliani. Playing his first game of league football, 12 touches. Not a bad start to his AFL career as he goes to the 50.
overcooked the kick as he was trying to find Hill, and we'll have a throw in. 45 out from the Bombers' goal.
True, man, what's your best guess on the score? I mean, on the crowd.
29 to 30, I reckon.
I reckon you're on the money. I'll go for 28 and a half quarters.
Yeah, about 29 for me.
Umpire throws it back in. Brennan takes it out of the ruck, gives it to Rich by hand. He gets tackled. From Monfries, the ball spills. A little chance and a pick-up and a flying shot at goal is no good. It's out of bounds on the full. Deep into attack for the Bombers, and the Lions will bring the ball back into play. Stanton's crack at goal offline. 39-point lead to the Lions. Things just sort of quietened up in the last minute or two. Little ball over the top to halfback is good. Ends up with Brennan marking at halfback, City side of the ground. 5.5 to play, third term. Harvey Norman scoreboard.
Jared Brennan. Nice kick.
It's man on man all over the field, so Clark's just going to have to take his time here, try and find the right option. And when it's man on man like this, it takes a lot of courage from the opposition to work off and help teammates. So this is where Essendon really have to try and learn and work through.
Long kick to Brown with strength, worked his way in front of Hurley and has taken his 15th mark. Chips to Power, half forward flank, goes down the line looking for Banfield, comes back to Power, into the pocket, mark taken by Riscatelli. He's got loose men on everywhere, but he's a little bit slow. Decides he's going to go back and have a shot from a very, very acute angle. City side of the ground, at the southern end. The man on the mark is a couple of metres in for the boundary line, about 25 from goal.
He was able to get into a lot of space because the Essendon players weren't sure when to swap to a zone from man on man. They just got mixed up there and he just left him all alone.
Riscatelli kicks and kicks superbly. That's a beautiful goal. Kyle Remus is acting like an idiot. He's been penalised too, Kyle Remus, and fair enough. Free kick, it's going to be another shot at goal as Kyle Remus is coming off. And the umpire warned him 2 or 3 times, and it was a cheap push in the back, and it's a free kick to the Lions in the goal square. And Remus has lost the plot here. He's just pushed Brennan in the face. Get off and cool down, Kyle Remus. You're better than that. As the emergency umpire comes in, and he's straight on the phone, and Matthew Knight.
He's got the phone upside down.
He has.
He's got the phone upside down.
Matthew Knight's got the phone upside down. That's how bad the Bombers are going.
Gee.
Knight has got the phone upside down. Remus is getting an absolute spray. He spat the dummy, Michael Roberts, and while all that went on, the Brisbane Lions had kicked another goal, and it was Jack Redden.
Unbelievable down here. He's copped the biggest bait you can imagine. Emergency umpire was at him as well, so he was confident from the right and the left. Did a stupid thing. Brennan right into his face, lost the plot completely. Kyle.
Mark McVeigh not happy too with Remus, thinking, why on earth do you give another charity goal away? They saw that first one where they weren't manning up properly. Some players went to a zone structure, and all of a sudden Riscatelli found himself in time and space. Matty Knight's just be scratching his head going, what on earth is going on?
Well, they had 2-0 in this third term. Now it's 2 goals apiece.
And it's back to 51 points the difference.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Riscatelli, little handball wide to Power. They win it out of the middle again, the Lions. Power goes searching for his old mate in Brown. Can't take it, but he paddles it forward. Rich picks up the loose ball, breaks through a heap of Bombers, then fires the ball in. There is no better delivery than a football than that, which you'll see. And
let's go to Jonathan Brown, free kick against Hurley.
Why would you let it go on?
Disadvantaging the team.
Has to go back to Brown on the wing. He now kicks inside 50. Clark the target. He's got Hardingham to beat. The delivery from Brown, not like was from Rich earlier. And the Bombers pick it up off the ground and combine. Hardingham to Stanton. Comes back inside to Premier. He goes onto his left foot. High up and under. Nagle and Merritt wait for it. Merritt gets better position. Drops it but picks it up and plays on quickly. Little ball over the top. Stiller to Riscatelli. Perfect. Riscatelli about 70 from home. Then little ball inside to Pierce Hanley. Goes searching for Jared Brennan. He goes across in front of both he and Courtney Dempsey and over the boundary line. 20 around from the Lions goal. Right forward pocket, true man. 81 to 30, 51 points to lead for the Lions. 3.5 to play third term.
Jay Nagle, 6 disposals, 3 marks, scoreless, 85% game time.
Still inside, Brisbane's attacking 50. Melksham trying to get boot to ball unsuccessfully. Redden, handball to Riscatelli. He's driven into the ground by Myers, and the umpire will bounce. 55 out from the Lions goal. As we speak, Eagles coming off for a break. Ball up. Leuenberger
against Hocking. Comes to Rich. Can't quite get boot to ball. Putting his head over it was Hocking. Handballs to Hooker. He just gets a little toe poke in. Ball in dispute. Oh, that's desperate stuff from Howlett. At least we brought a bit of cushion today. So good stuff from Ben Howlett. He gets the free kick on defensive 50. Coming up for his 14th disposal. He's told to play on. Not a lot on offer. He kicks in the jetted direction. He takes the mark at centre half back. And then just kicks a high up and under. A Hail Mary, if you like. And that's a push out against Monfries. And it's going to Adcock.
Well, they just don't have that get-out kick that a big key position player, when you're under pressure, you can just bomb it long and they'll make a contest. Essendon don't have that, and they're trying to bomb it long at the moment, and they're just being outplayed and outmuscled.
Lions 81, Essendon 30, 26 minutes gone, third term on the Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard.
The Lions play around with it. Merritt goes to Pierce Hanley, who runs to centre half back and then kicks to Brown, who's going to go at it. Welcome to the AFL, Marigliani. He's got a run at Brown, who is running straight at him. Brown got there first, handballed over the top. Little one was meant for Patfield. Early got there first, but he made a meal of it. Patfield went and picked it up, and Brown then picks it up, fires it inside to Clark. He went to ground, couldn't take the ball cleanly. Melksham does well, picks it up, then loses his footing. Spills to Clark. Clark to Black. Black still 50 from goal. Tries to find a teammate with a handball. He won't find one of the Bombers at halfback. Reloaded to send it back out to the wing. Tough one to win. Bombers and Lions in equal numbers. Stiller gets there first. Boundary line beats him. And in the end, he's happy to see it over as Carlisle pushes him over. 51 points the lead. Robbo, the Lions, with just a couple of minutes to go in this third term.
Hammer, I've just received a phone call saying that Troy Selwood is going to hospital. So what Doc Reed was doing down in the rooms, the Essendon doctor has gone down there with the Brisbane one, and they've decided to take Troy to hospital now.
Well, terrible news for the Lions, hardened up with SPC man-beans. No one tougher than the Selwoods, and he was in real pain in that second term.
So we'll keep you up to speed with what's happening with Selwood, because back here at Etihad Stadium, the Bombers had possession. They kicked to half forward, but turnover.
They've had an incredible struggle in this third term.
Mark taken by Staker.
Just trying to find a half-forward target. They've got nothing, the Bombers, across half-forward.
Staker, back pocket, goes to the boundary line, about 70 from the Essendon goal. Beautiful ball, finds Leuenberger.
The problem they got here, the Bombers, a lot of their players are man on man, yet some of them are floating off trying to zone space. You either do one or the other, and you do it in sync with the rest of your teammates. Brisbane Lions will just tip this around because they've got a lot of spare players.
Leuenberger to Black, Black to Stiller, Stiller to Power, still at half back.
He'll switch play here.
23 seconds to play in the third term. Lions lead it by 51 points in Jonathan Brown's 200th. His numbers, please, Chu.
22 disposals, 15 marks, 4 goals, 5.
Black gets it again from Power, and he's on the wing, outer side. Defensive side of it, hard against the boundary line. His right kick is perfect down the wing, and it finds Brennan as he marks, sliding onto his chest. 2 goals apiece in that third term as Favola watches on from the stands. The Lions lead it by 51, 12-9 to 4-6.
For Brisbane, 4 goals, 5 to Jonathan Brown. 2 goals to Banfield and singles to Clark, Adcock, Brennan, Redden, Hoffenhorn and Riscatelli. While for the Bombers, 1 each to Monfries, Carlisle, Reimers and Marigliani. So three-quarter time, the Lions 51-point leaders over Essendon. To Amy Stadium, it was a 29-point victory to Port Adelaide, 17-10. 112 to Melbourne's 11-17-83. Schultz continued his good form with 5 goals for the Power. Jara kicked 4 for the Demons and also perhaps took the mark of the year, leading the possession getters for Port. Cassisi 27. Cam Bruce racked up 39 for the Demons. And the late game this afternoon, the twilight match, is the West Coast Eagles versus the Kangaroos. Thanks to McDonald's, Triple M rocks football.
This corner was brought to you by Harvey Norman, the 3D TV destination. Come in for a 3D TV experience.
For McDonald's,
Triple M rocks football. Every day, Eddie Maguire has a Triple M hot breakfast.
with Luke Darcy and Mika Buchan.
I love the hot breakfast.
It's got your crime, it's got your sport. It's entertaining. A lot of stuff you can relate to. Everything Melbourne.
It's Melbourne-based.
Every morning.
There's a brothel on fire in South Melbourne. Have we got any regulars?
Then midweek, grab a lift home with James Brayshaw and Billy Brownless.
You play girls' pool?
Oh, get stuck. Two great shows. Two more reasons to leave all your radios locked on 105.1 Triple M.
You idiot.
Today's living is all about luxury, style, and comfort. And no one knows better than National Builders Group. When you build your dream home with National Builders, you get ultra premium inclusions at no extra charge. And this month you also get carpets and tiles, air conditioning, and home cinema pack, all without the price tag. To know more about this great offer, visit nationalbuilders.com.au. National Builders, looked after me.
I'm Biden Plant, and I'm running for Prime Minister. And I'm optimistic about Australia. I don't look at the cons, I look at the pros. I don't believe this is a contest, I believe it's a protest. I'm not a conservationalist, I'm a pro-servationalist. And I will turn this constitution into a prostitution. You heard me, I'm for prostitution. I'm Button Plant, and I'm a prostitute.
Spoken by one person, now two, including me. Visit www.bartonplant.com for more.
And I just realised what I said.
Time to take the Fair Dinkum Real Shed test. Which do you love more, your footy, your remote, or your dog? Thinking music, please? If you couldn't decide, you're fair dinkum keeping it real, which means you'd appreciate a real shed and real value. At Fair Dinkum Sheds, we're keeping it real. And that's all there is to it. Fair Dinkum Sheds, real value. Footy, remote, dog, that's a toughie.
It's back, bigger than ever. Harvey Norman's 4-day sale on now. Save $436 on HP quad-core laptop with 1 gig graphics, red hot $7.99. Roomy 410-litre fridge, only $4.99. Up to 40% off selected furniture floor stock. Up to 45% off mattresses, ensembles in Manchester. Many more Harvey Norman's deals in store. Don't miss this opportunity to save. Big on range, big on brands, even bigger on savings. It's Harvey Norman's. Hurry, ends Monday.
When I need an extreme energy hit to take me from onstage entertaining to backstage entertaining, I grab a Rockstar Energy drink. But it's not just any energy that turns me on. I have extremely good taste. Rockstar comes in 5 extreme flavors: guava, cola, orange, sugar-free, and original. So you can actually enjoy your energy. Rockstar Energy drink. Damn, that's good.
Round the block, 1-3 cabs. Round the clock, 1-3 cabs. 1-3 cabs, 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 1-3 cabs.
Heading out, heading home. Put 1-3 cabs in your phone or book online at 13cabs.com.au.
Shut up! The foot is on the radio!
From McDonald's.
Triple M rocks football.
This quarter is brought to you by Lockwood. If you haven't locked up with Lockwood, have you really locked up?
Biggest lead of the game right now, Brisbane Lions 12-9-81, 51 points in front of the Bombers, 4-6-30. Brown is the major goal scorer for Brisbane with 4 goals. Banfield has a couple, all singles, well only 4 singles for Essendon. In the early game it was the Power 29-point winners over the Demons. The only bad news for Brisbane is a big hit from Kyle Hardingham on Troy Selwood in the second quarter, and he has been taken to hospital. We will keep you up to date as to what has happened with Troy Selwood. But with his thoughts at three-quarter time, here's Jason Dunstall.
Well, it's been very disappointing pretty much from the first bounce. Good for Brisbane, good for Jonathan Brown on his 200, but it's not what the Bombers supporters were hoping to see today. It's very much a depleted side, and they're being, I guess, exploited for what they are, an inexperienced and perhaps physically weaker side than the experienced list that Brisbane put out there today. And there's no stars for the Bombers. That's been the big difference. Jonathan Brown has dominated his a dozen marks or so and kicked 4 goals. Probably should have had, or kicked 4 goals. Should have had 7 or 8 goals to his name, and unfortunately things have just unravelled a little bit for the Bombers. You'd just like to see them get a passage of play where they just back themselves in and just played attacking football. They've been a little bit cautious. I think the mistakes have crept in and played on their mind, and unfortunately none of their experienced players have actually been able to get a hold of it much today and give them a little bit of surety in terms of maintaining possession. Joe Watson's been well beaten and there's not much else. Mark McVeigh's tried hard in the second half going in the middle, and that's about it.
Start the final term. Hill against Clark. Hill reached over the top, got the tap, couldn't quite get it to McVeigh. Black on hands and knees, grabbed the footy, fed out the handball to Redden, who got met solidly by Monfries. Umpire said that's fine, play on. Comes to the wing, McGrath out, bustles Dempsey. Gets stripped of the ball by Watson, who fed it out to Monfries. Monfries handballs to Hill. Hill gives it to Dempsey. Runs to 60 metres out from goal. Kicks a long ball into the goal square. And the mark's taken by Howlett at the Lloyd or the southern end or right of your dial. And Ben Howlett will line up for goal on a 45-degree angle, but only 15 metres out. And this is an absolute gimme. So it'll be a good start to the final quarter, you would suspect, for Essendon.
Yeah, absolutely, and a very good kick. I don't know if he actually meant that or he's having a shot, but we'll just back him in. But Howlett just read it beautifully, just ran on and held it nicely.
And Howlett, don't tell me he's missed it. No, he's got it. Just, but it's a goal. Triple M Lockwood scoreboard. Essendon get the first goal of the last quarter there. 5-6-36, trailing Brisbane 12-9-81 for SPC Manbean. Straight down into the rooms where Michael Roberts is following the fortunes of Troy Selwood. You there, Michael?
Yes, I'm down in the rooms on the phone, and the ambulance has arrived. Joel Selwood's down here with Troy in a very, very bad way. Doc Reed from the Essendon Football Club's down here. He hasn't progressed terribly well, so they've called an ambulance. It's taken its time, but he is in a really bad way, and he's going to be taken to hospital as we speak.
Michael, do we know anything, any hint as to what might be wrong with him?
Well, obviously, after the two doctors have had some communication, he's actually progressed badly, and he could not breathe. He was really struggling to breathe, and structurally they don't know. That's why they're taking him to hospital, but really in a bad way, Troy Selwood.
All right, thanks, Michael. We'll keep an ear to the ground as to what's happening with Troy Selwood, but being rushed to hospital now with, I guess you'd have to say, boys, suspected internal injuries.
Yeah, well, if he's not breathing, let's hope it's not a collapsed lung or anything like that. That's terrible news. Just a committed ball player, put his head over the footy, a fantastic collision. Two players' eyes on the footy, him and Kyle Hardingham, and unfortunately he came off much the worse for wear.
His brother Joel, the Geelong star, is down there to help Troy out. So they've had some rotten luck, the Selwood boys, over the years. They've had some pretty heavy hits, but this is not good. So Troy Selwood on his way to hospital.
Riscatelli from 80 just pops the ball inside 50. Free kick Bombers, last line of defence.
Two hands in the back.
Against Jonathan Brown, he says, was it me? And the umpire was sort of too scared to say yes and just kept the arm up, and the Bombers get it back pocket, send it to the half-back flank. Too slick for Carlisle, but the ball goes out over the boundary line, 55 around from the Lions goal.
Yeah, three-quarter time, I had a look on the OPSM replay, and Matty Knights, he was into Nagel, he was into Reamers, and he got those two by themselves, and he said, look, what are you doing? We need more of an effort, switch on. So I'm expecting them to have some input this quarter.
The Lions pick it up, little slick stoppage. Riscatelli fires at goal, finishes beautifully. Oh, that was really neat and tidy from Riscatelli. Gets his second, and the margin is back out to 51.17 to play, final term. That's all, of course, on the Lockwood scoreboard.
Well, you can say it's fantastic work by the Brisbane Lions, but his opponent, trying to work out who it was off the OPSM replay screen, was dreadful. Just stopped as Riscatelli ran forward. Jake Melsham just gave up on him. He got the perfect tap from the ruckman and strolled inside 50 and kicked the goal.
Further news from Michael Roberts. There is some suggestion that Troy Selwood may have broken ribs and a punctured lung. So pretty serious stuff.
Well, those Selwood boys are very, very tough, and when he went down, when they tried to help him from the field, he just kept collapsing towards the ground, and just what a horrendous injury that'll be.
When people talk about the game getting soft and the players are too protected, just grab a bit of footage of that.
So Brisbane have the ball at half-back. Power, nice handball to McGrath, who steams to half-forward, kicks a low daisy cutter, couldn't quite find Polkinghorne. Now the ball's in dispute, McGrath's there. Polkinghorne has another go at it, but it's a high tackle against Polkinghorne. I think it is Polkinghorne.
Hands off, James. Take you. And it's going to be taken by Quinn. So Quinn at half-back for the Bombers has got the free kick. City side of the ground. Essendon going to right of your dial in the last quarter. They trailed by 51 points in what is turning out to be another dark afternoon for the Bombers.
Ball down to half forward. It was meant for Carlisle. The Lions have got the numbers. Power couldn't take it cleanly. Little handball wide. Ends up getting scooped back up to him by Stilly. Picks it up at half back. Goes onto his left boot. Fires it inside and finds his man. He just sort of lurks around the place, Harwood, and then kicks the ball inside to McGrath, who's on the defensive side of the circles in the middle of the ground. Got a runner, he ignores Clark, then goes back through the middle. Harwood, the target again, finds him. He handballs to Adcock. Adcock goes searching for Brown. Hurley, fist, and then goes into the back of Brown. Umpire says perfect play, play on. Ball spills out wide. Both Slattery and Sherman go searching for it, but Hurley did perfectly there.
He was like
reached
Superman.
around and got the fist in. That's brilliant.
Silvani-esque.
Yes, very much so.
Got up a bit gingerly too, did Jay Brown. 50 out from the Lions goal. McVeigh couldn't get it. Harwood got rid of the handball and then got banged over. He's okay though, gets up. As Myers for Essendon kicks to half back and it's marked by Stanton. How many for Stanton, Ashtura?
Carlton draft stats, quarters, Stanton 16 touches.
Quiet day. Jenner for Essendon grabs it, kicks a long ball one-on-one. Flew high. Unfortunately couldn't take the mark over Jane Eagle. It was spectacular stuff. McGrath again, he's had a blinder for Brisbane at half-back. Gives the handball to Rich, breaks one tackle, dishes off to Black. Black on the left boot, looks for Brown. He's spoiled again by Hurley. Well done by Hurley. Banfield for Brisbane, paddling against Hockey. Kept his feet, Banfield. Runs into the open goal and nails it. Another Karcher goal of the day for Todd Banfield. He's kicked his third. They've all been beauties. And on the Triple M Lockwood scoreboard, if you haven't locked up with Lockwood, have you really locked up? This game is locked up by the Lions. They are leading by plenty. The margin now is out to 57 points, 14,993 to Essendon, 5,636. The biggest margin in the game, Jason Dunstall and Shane Crawford.
Once again, Michael Hurley did a terrific job on Jonathan Brown. He was able to find himself in a bit of space, but was able to get his fist in there, and that's good to see from the young man who's had a tough day on one of the greats in this competition. But they just had plenty of run then, the Brisbane Lions are able to find spare players, and Banfield just does what he does best, running hard and putting it through the big sticks.
Kept his feet, that's the key. You go to ground, you're no good to anyone.
Sorry, you're under pressure, the initial handball. Sorry, Simon.
It's apologising to Simon Black, who cleared the ball for the Lions. Has to come back to Rockcliffe, who got taken high. He switches the ball out to Patful on the wing out of side. He kicks inside 50. Again, Brown the target. Brennan lurks, but Brown marks in between both Hurley and Hooker. He's in the right forward pocket, a couple of metres in from the boundary line.
Hitting himself the angle he's walked in at. The umpire's going to bring him right around. He is kidding.
Well, in his 200th, he's shooting for number 5, and he's had 16, Chew, has he?
16 marks. Yep.
That's just marks.
That's unbelievable.
22 touches.
PB's what, 17?
17's his PB.
Drop punt or banana from there, Crawf?
I think he's going to try a drop punt.
He'll be kicking from about 25, 3 or 4 metres in from the boundary line. Drop punt, fires at goal. Chelsea says offline. One behind only the result. 94 plays 36.
So what's he got now?
4 goals, 6 for Jonathan Brown.
How many marks?
16, Crawford.
In his 200, it could have been a career game, kicking 10 goals.
14-10 plays 5-6. The margin is 58 points to the good of the Lions.
Kick-ins marked by Hooker for Essendon on defensive 50. Dockland side of the ground.
No options, no run and spread.
Essendon going to right of your dial in this last quarter. Nothing there, as Jason Dunstall just said, so he's forced to chip back into the defensive goal square to Stanton, who kicks to the City side of the ground. Oh dear. Mark taken there by Hardingham. His kick round the corner wasn't all that flash, but fortunately Essendon maintained possession. Myers for the Bombers. Scrubs a kick to the wing. Monfrey's his handball missed the target. High tackle low on an Essendon player. Getting up the bottom of the pack, it's Melksham. And Melksham's got the free kick on the Toyota decal on centre wing.
They've got space in their forward line. They just need to move it quick.
Melksham to Reemers through the middle of the ground. He starts to run from about 60. He fires a long, accurate ball. Nice way to finish. Nice way to get your second. It was an ambitious kick, you thought, but it was perfect in execution, and 6 points as the result. Lions 14-10-94, Essendon 6-6-42, 13 to play, final term, Lockwood scoreboard.
BSM replay screen. He kicks this from a good 3 metres inside the centre square, and it carries the goal line by 3 or 4 metres as well. That's got to be the best part of a 70-metre drop punt. That's huge.
And he absolutely split the middle. There was never in doubt as to the accuracy.
It's those boots, Hamish.
They need more of it, and they need more of it from him.
For SBC Man Beans, Michael Roberts.
Hugh, I've just returned to my seat, but I've actually been down in the rooms, and that Troy Selwood, they're taking him to hospital, obviously to check him completely out, really struggling with his breathing. They suspect broken ribs, and also they'll check the lung, but in a really bad way. Brother down there as well, so concerned for the family.
Thanks, Michael. Good work down there as Brisbane have possession. Brown kicks towards Banfield, who's taken the mark, only 35 metres out on a slight angle at the Lockett end of the ground, and he'll be lining up for goal number 4. One of the big positives of Brisbane this year has been the form of Todd Banfield. He loves a goal, he's got pace. Do you think he could be a midfielder when he matures a bit, Shane?
I'd leave him in the forward line at the moment.
Doesn't kick the ball well enough to play midfield.
Okay. Jonathan Brown's kick then was just fantastic, just to space, and he was able to run onto it.
Sure was. Banfield shoots for goal and missed.
Floater.
That's why he's in the forward line, James.
Hit the post. Hit the post. So 3 goals, 1 to Todd Banfield. Triple M Lockwood scoreboard. 11 minutes gone, final term. Lions lead by 53 points.
Hardingham, who debuted in the forward line, finds himself at full-back and floats the ball over the top to Stanton at centre-half-back. He runs now and kicks the ball long to the broadcast wing. Marigliani marks
ahead of play here.
In front of Adcock. Gives it to Remus, who just kicked that long 70-metre goal. He goes to Monfries. Monfries marks at 50. Kicks into the man on the mark in Merritt. Falls back to Howlett. Howlett goes onto his left boot. Floats the ball inside. No good. In the end, they've got the numbers and still a marks. He falls to ground in between full-back and centre-half-back. Goes onto his left boot and slides the ball wide. And the Lions have got space and numbers, and they should be okay. Ends up with Sherman going short to Power. He's in between sort of about 3 bombers, and he takes his time and then loops the ball over the top. Should be okay. Well, Harwood didn't go hard at it. Quinn got there and got a fist to it. Spills to McGrath. He gets tackled by Hallett. Gets a kick away as he lay on his back. Dempsey intercepted it. Took a bounce. We're under 50. Puts it a long sort of low ball together, and in the end it's a totally inaccurate one. It goes over the boundary line. No score at all. The umpire reload a metre around from the left point post as Matty Knights watches on. Brisbane Lions 95, Essendon 42, 12 to play, final term, Lockett scoreboard.
Throw in. Adcock got that one. Now Power punches the handball out to Ritchie, gives it to Sherman. Sherman's been quiet, but he's going to go for a trot. Here he can go the whole way. He can go the whole way. He's had 2 bounces, 3 bounces, 4 bounces along the city wing. Now he goes into the pocket, long ball, couldn't quite find a teammate. Idea was right, just couldn't quite nail the execution. Spills to Polkinghorn, who kicks the goal, but it was a free kick Essendon's way, and now it's a 50-metre penalty.
It's about 12 metres out, 62.
Just Razor Ray giving the bit of lineage to his fellow umpire.
Be a good caddy, wouldn't he?
Yeah. So 62 metres, he said.
Yeah, so
exactly measure 62 metres out
well,
the ground.
Well, basically telling him to go 12 metres past the 50-metre arc, so it wasn't a bad little tip to give him.
Slattery at halfback, sends the ball wide. Carlisle the target, perfect ball. He marks in front of Hanley, and then he goes back inside to Jetta, who's got the orange version of Kyle's purple boots. He runs just to the advantage side of the circles. Now kicks inside 50. Hill and Stanton. Stanton goes up, fumbles it twice, marks it the 3rd time. 20 out. Not too much angle to be concerned with.
Well, Daniel Rich stayed down. Brent Stanton went up.
So Stanton's, sorry.
He had a free run and jump.
Stanton will kick from 20 metres. Rich will stand on the mark. And Stanton will try and narrow the gap, which currently stands at 53. Fires a goal. He puts it straight through the middle. Stanton has his first of the afternoon. The Bombers trail it 14-11-95. Essendon 7-6-48. 14 played, final turn. That's all on the Triple M Lockwood scoreboard. Chairman, if you haven't locked up with Lockwood, the question is, have you really locked up?
That's exactly right. And that's why I do that all the time living out in Point Cook. It makes me sleep well at night, hey?
That's a lovely area, Point Cook.
It is. But you've got to be safe in this day and age, quarters. It's a different ball game in 2010.
That's very true. I can vouch for that.
Surely normal people couldn't fit through your doorway, though, Ash, could they?
It's not quite Captain Cook's cottage, Jason.
No, that's like the Shire in Lord of the Rings.
The Hobbit.
You're getting into dangerous territory, Jason.
Yes,
You've already been warned this year.
Oh, well, Croft's the only one that ever gets invited over for dinner.
From the bounce.
And Jared Blair.
Brisbane get the...
Oh, it's funny, is it, Hamish?
Yes. Brisbane get the clearance. Harwood for the Lions. Kicks it kicks to the 50. Well, Brown pulled up a bit short there, but he's okay. Ball back into the middle. Handball comes out to Jetta. Now Black into the picture. Just handballs wildly over his head. It was a good one too to Rich. He gets run down. Holding the ball. Free kick to Dempsey. Advantage paid. Milks him away for the Bombers.
Essendon start to run clear. Cremiri puts it on his left boot. Howell at the target. Merritt terrific. Fist comes from behind. Bounces back to 55 where Cremiri picks it up again. Kicks inside. And this time Merritt smothers off the boot. He goes looking for handling with a little handball. Milksham picks it up. Tries to swing the handball over the top. Meant for Howlett. Was run into by two Lions and a Bomber. They collide, wrap each other up. Then underneath it all is Cremiri. He gets tackled and the umpire will bounce 45 out. Not a heap of angle from the Essendon goal.
Ash, you said 28 and a half. I said 29. It was 28,785.
Ash was closer.
Jetta picks it up, fires it goal. Montfrey's the target. 15 out. Fist comes and the ball spills over the boundary line. I think the ambulance has arrived at Eddie Harden. It's just disappearing with Troy Selwood then going to hospital. Robbo's kept us updated all afternoon, done a terrific job, and we understand Joel Selwood was here and he's also with his brother Troy.
Well, technically I was closer.
I thought Ash said 29, you said 28 and a half.
I said 29, he said 28 and a half.
Ah, sorry, I had it the other way around.
Technically today...
That's ordinary by YouTube.
Well, that crowd, it's the lowest crowd in Melbourne between these two sides since 1995 quarters when they used to play games at Optus Oval.
Gee, that's a bad sign, isn't it, for Bomber fans not fronting up today.
Well, the positive from the Bombers' point of view is this second half. They've kicked 5 goals 3 to Brisbane's 4 goals 6. So a much better attitude. They've gone about it the right way in this second half.
Bombers work it inside 50. Carlisle almost took a good mark. He's been a real positive today for Essendon. Harwood for Brisbane puts down the head down and goes for hell for leather, but he's caught. He should be penalised for holding the ball. No, umpire says I'll bounce. He took on the tackler. The umpire's given him the benefit of the doubt. We'll have a bounce 55 metres out from the Bombers' goal at the southern end of the ground. It is the Lions 95 leading Essendon 49. 17 minutes gone, final turn.
Heap of players try to get hold of it like a ping pong ball, just hovers in the air. The end of the little ball ends up with McVeigh, who runs inside 50, loses his footing after coming out of a tackle, and his handball spills wide. Ends up with Polkinghorn combining with Staker, who runs through the middle, gives it to Black. Black goes onto his left foot, looks and looks and looks, and then decides to handball instead. Back to Staker. Staker to half forward. Clark the target. All right ball. He puts out the right arm, drags it into his chest, and then just turns around and kicks looking for Brown. Brown in his 200 flies, can't take the mark. Hurley does well. He's done well in this last couple of quarters, Hurley against Jay Brown, and the umpire will throw it in about 15-20 round from the left point post Lions attacking end.
The other thing they've done this second half is Kyle Hardingham's having a run in defence. He's played on Mitch Clark, and he doesn't look incapable of doing that either.
Clark gets a fist onto it. Riscatelli runs onto the loose ball. 55 around from the Lions goal. 45-degree angle. Ball in dispute. Montfrey's in defence. Picks up the loose ball. Handballs. Goes as far as Daniel Rich. He handballs to Simon Black. Black goes searching for Stiller. Can't find him. And Stanton picks up the loose ball after Stiller fumbled it. And he kicks to the wing where Jay Nagle finds himself being corralled by Merritt. Handballs backwards. Hardingham the target. He gets tackled. Brought to ground by Rich. Merritt grabs hold of Rich. Prismal goes on top of Merritt. And then the umpire will come in and bounce right near the interchange gate. Stockland side of the ground. 95 plays 49. The margin is 46 points. We played just on 20 minutes in this final term Lockwood scoreboard.
How many for Riscatelli today? I think he's been just about BAG.
He's racked up 26 touches, quarters, and his PB is 30.
Jonathan Brown's been all right today, quarters.
Yeah, I said just about BAG.
Okay, very good.
Thanks for kicking that on time.
Ball kicking by Brownie.
Ball comes to the wing. Redden. Handballs to Adcock, gives it to McGrath, who's also played a really good game for Brisbane. Gives it back to Adcock, who switches to the City side of the ground. Mark taken by Patfull. The Lions work it to half forward. Only as far as Myers, who wins it back for the Bombers. A little left foot kick. Finds Hooker. Hooker at half back. City side of the ground. Goes to Prismal. who takes the mark just before Pierce Hanley gets there. How many for Prismal?
Prismal for Carlton draft stats, 15 disposals.
Very quiet.
33% kicking efficiency.
Yeah, it's not great from Brent Prismal.
Slattery
takes the mark.
Ends up with Slattery.
Every player.
He looks exactly like Gary O'Donnell. He gives it to Myers via foot, 20-metre ball, and then Myers kicks long inside 50. Stanton the target. Merritt flies again. Gets a fist to it. Spills to Staker. Staker turns Stanton inside out. Then handballs back over the top to Merritt. Dangerous little play. Misses Merritt, but Staker somehow ends up at the fall of the ball and picks up his own handball and fires it to Brennan, who gets a bit ambitious and tries to fire a 15-metre ball 3 metres off the ground. He picks out Dempsey instead of Harwood.
Just bit off more than he could chew, Jared Brennan. He had a much simpler lateral option.
Dempsey from 70. Reamers would have goaled it. He just puts it to the top of the square. Pack goes up. Hard one to win, except for Brennan, who goes underneath about 3. And then awkwardly places it onto his boot and finds Reamers for Essendon. So he's picked out 2 bombers. Dempsey, then Reamers. Reamers handballs inside to Stanton. He from 45 fires it at goal, but it's just one behind the result. Scoreline, 95 the Lions, 45 points in front of the Bombers, who are 50. Got 6 minutes to play. Lockwood scoreboard final term.
They're here. The Seagulls from the MCG have arrived in numbers.
What's it, Alfred Hitchcock movie?
Seagulls?
You've used that a few times this year.
Have I? Well, I used to.
No, Hamish has.
Oh.
Ball kicked by Brisbane to the Dockland side of the ground. Half-back flank, strong mark taken by Mitch Clark. Chips in the Brown direction. The chases on. Hurley with the younger legs. Jonathan Brown's just about knackered, I reckon, but he's certainly set up this victory with a sensational first half. Looks a bit sore, doesn't he, boys?
Yeah, I wonder if he's playing the jabs that might be wearing off.
Jetta for Essendon goes inside 50. Back of the pack, Neagle. Oh, that's a lovely snap from Jay Neagle in the forward pocket. Great skill. And Neagle kicks his first of the afternoon. He's had a very dirty day. But that was a nice goal. And on the Triple M Lockwood scoreboard, we've been going 21 and a half minutes in the final term. And it's the Lions 14-11-95 leading Essendon 8-8-56. The margin now back to 39 points. Michael Roberts.
Joe Watson could be gone for the afternoon, Q. We know he's carried a calf muscle for about a good month, but he's taken the boot off, the left boot. Doc Reed having a look at his ankle now. And he's really struggled after half-time. He's been quizzed 3 or 4 times during the game by the doctors, but he's been able to guts it out and come on, but now he's in a bad way.
Joe Watson's numbers.
Carlton draft stats quarters, just the 17 possessions.
Yeah, Rockcliffe's done a terrific job on him. The young man who's only very new to this game, as he gets the ball out of the centre and kicks it inside 50 for the Lions.
Hooker goes back, can't take it, then picks up the ball that went to ground, then handballs to Jetta, who gets tackled. Big tackle from Adcock, gets taken to ground. Centre half forward territory for the Lions. Hooker comes in, gives a bit of support. Melksham too. He wins the ball, puts it onto his left boot, kicks it wide to the boundary line, and he'll find touch. City side of the ground, 80 around from the Lions goal. Brisbane Lions 95, Essendon 56. They've kicked the last 3 of the Bombers. Kyle Reamers, Brett Stanton and Nagel. Was it 57 points, the biggest lead of the afternoon, Shoot?
58 to be precise.
58. It's now back to 39 as the umpire brings it back into play. Leuenberger wins it down to Rich. He goes onto his left boot, decides to handball instead. Handball won't find an immediate target, goes to ground, hard ball to win. Rich goes back, tries to win it. Jetta does better. Jetta picks it up, handballs over the top. Little one to Hill. Hill starts to run, has a look inside 50. He's got no one. So one runs inside and it's Hardingham who goes up. No, Cremiri. Cremiri goes up, can't control it. Does the second time. Goes to ground, gets tackled. Fires the ball at goal, hits the left point post, and the umpire, after the ball bounced, will come in and throw the ball back into play. Lions 14-11-95, Essendon 8-8-56. The margin is 39 points in favour of the Lions.
Throw in Essendon's forward pocket. Grabbed for the Lions by Adcock. Trying to get it to Stiller, and we'll have a stoppage here, 20 metres out from the Bombers' goal.
Doing a straw poll later quarters, or whether it's Cremiri or Kramaric.
Well, Steve told me it was Kramari.
He's right. I just can't get it right.
Don't worry, quarters, you're never wrong.
Oh, it's a goal to Essendon. You'll keep Crawford. I'll get back to that one. And it's Myers who's from the stoppage. Ball was knocked to ground and he's steamed into goal, and from 15 metres out directly in front has put it through. So they've got a few consolation goals, Essendon, but it is going to be too little too late. That wasn't even my argument, that one.
He's had a little bit of the ball, Ash. What's David Myers had?
For current draft stats, 14 disposals.
Okay, 14 disposals and a goal.
Just Lions 14-11 at 95, Essendon 9-8-62. Back to 33 points the difference, Michael Roberts.
As I said, Joe Watson, the skipper, had the left boot off and they've heavily strapped the lateral side of that left ankle. Desperately wants to come back on as skipper to finish off and make a statement, but if I was the Matty Knights, I'd be keeping the skipper off. Left side, left ankle, bad way.
Now the Essendon youngsters today quarters. Crabbery, he's at 18. Carlisle, he's at 14. And McGinty, he's at 13. Did I get that right?
No, it's Marigliani.
Okay, sorry, man.
But Carl Leslie was right. Umpire in the middle. The Bombers had kicked the last 4. They'd narrowed the gap to 33. Hard ball to win in the middle. Power does well. Knocks it wide to Leuenberger. Leuenberger, little one.
Got him on the shoulder, Ben.
To Hanley. Hanley will get the free kick over the shoulder. Cole Reimers went. He said Ben, so maybe it was Ben Hallett. Reimers stands on the mark. Stiller receives the ball, then goes short to centre half forward. Ball was met by Redden. He plays on, gives it to McGrath, runs into a couple of Bombers, has to retreat, does pretty well, finds his man in Patwell that's got plenty of space. He can go backwards to centre half back or then kick down to half forward. He chooses to do the latter. A couple of Bombers take on Redden. Goes over the top of all of their heads and goes over the boundary line. Slattery can't keep it in. 53 around from the Lions goal. 95 plays 62. Margin is 33 points. 58 at one stage the Lions lead. We've got 3 minutes and 21 seconds to play on the Lockwood scoreboard. Final term. Been a beautiful afternoon in Melbourne for football. The Lions have dominated from start to finish. The Lions have got the last 4, but it's flattering them on the scoreboard at the moment. Riscatelli takes the ball, then gets tackled, spills out wide. Little ball. Trying to win it is Myers. Kick the last goal for the Bombers. The Lions accidentally kick it out of bounds on the full. Comes off Redden's boot in the stoppage out of side, and the Lions will have to retreat because the Bombers are going to bring it back into play. 3 minutes to play. Lions by 33 points. Lockwood scoreboard, final term.
Now the switch back into the goal square by the Bombers is marked by Hardingham, as Jason Dunstall alluded to. He's been all right in defence.
He just looks a likely type. Good size, good spring, good pace. So they're educating him.
Thumping kick. Fisted away by Polkinghorn. Doing the roading is Jetta, who's had a pretty good second half. And he kicks to the wing. And the mark's taken by the Irishman Quinn. The mighty Quinn kicks towards Nagel. He propped, and it was fisted away by Merritt.
His mother was a doctor.
Yep, medicine woman. At the conclusion of this match, we're going to do an eliminator and find out who is going to play in the first week of the finals.
An eliminator?
Yeah, we'll just have a look at next week. It's round 22 and think who's going to win, who's going to lose, and we'll come up with the 4 games in the first week of the September action. And don't forget the footy open line, 133353. 133353. With a bit of luck too, we'll speak with the Lions captain Jonathan Brown, who's celebrating his 200th game in style this afternoon. Free kick to Brisbane on centre wing on the Docklands side, and it's taken there by Hanley.
Got 16 marks, 17's his record, and we've got about 2.5 minutes to go, so let's see if we can get him his record marks.
Lions work it to Parra in the middle of Etihad. He kicks to half forward. No one there except Hooker for the Bombers. He goes onto his right boot, switches play, brings it to Hill, Docklands side. Redden goes and stands on the mark. Hill sweeps the ball inside to Dempsey. Dempsey to Jetta. Jetta on the wing in front of us broadcast side. Goes onto the right boot. This time it goes inside. Cramery. He marks at 52. Razor Ray comes in. He points to the 50. Patwell comes back and stands on the 5 of the 50.
Very lucky, man.
Cramery on his left boot, goes inside, couple lurk around, 3 Bombers go up. Leuenberger watches it all take place, spills fortuitously to Adcock out the back, and he runs, puts it onto his right boot. Hardingham traps the ball on the wing, goes onto his left boot. Ugly sort of a worm-burning float type operation, straight out of bounds. 25 around.
That's exactly what it was.
It was ugly. And the umpire will bring the ball back into play. 40 around from the Bombers' goal. They've kicked the last 4, but they trail by 33 points with 1.5 minutes left on the Lockwood scoreboard.
Hill against Leuenberger. They nullify each other. Rich snaffles it. He's getting tackled by McVeigh and by Reimers. And we'll have another ball up, 45 metres out from the Bombers' goal. In the second half, Essendon have kicked 7 goals to the Lions 4. So, been a good fight back by Essendon in the second half, but Their first 2 quarters were very, very ordinary to say the least. In fact, disgraceful. Down to Michael Roberts.
If you can remember, Mark McVeigh actually got an injured elbow and it blew up almost abscess-like, and he's just landed on it, so in a really bad way now. He's had to carry that all year.
On the throw in, Black handballs to Leuenberger, jams it on the boot, back to the wing. Hurley backs himself against Brown. Tried to break the Banfield tackle unsuccessfully. A bit of front-on contact there. Rockcliffe, he's a good unit for Brisbane, hard at it too. The Lions get possession in the midfield. Daniel Rich. Brown has worked hard. Hurley in front. Hocking in front. Hocking spoilt beautifully. Knocked it to Dempsey, who gives it to Hooker, who kicks to the wing, Dockland side. Monfries has had a dirty day, couldn't take the mark. Merritt under pressure. Tried to tap it towards Adcock. Picked up by Neagle. Neagle, though, couldn't get the handball away cleanly. Adcock comes back and gets the footy for the Lions. Another bit of spillage here. Carlisle, he's driven into the turf, holding the ball. Advantage paid. Rich for Brisbane. Hacks one inside 50. It's junk time now. Picked up by Hocking. Sweeping handball to Jetta.
Last few seconds of this match. Can the Bombers make it 5 in a row? Jetta runs to 60. Fires the ball in. David Hill. He marks and he'll get a kick at goal after the siren. So the margin before the kick is 33 points. 14-11 plays 9-8. David Hill will kick from 45 metres directly in front, kicking to the Matty Lloyd or southern end. Croft, generally you get this wrong. Will he kick it through or not?
I think he will. I think he'll put it through and it'll get him going for next week.
David Hill fires at goal.
Thank you, David.
The accurate one predicts accurately.
Nostradamus.
27 points the final margin. The Lions win the first time in Melbourne since they beat North Melbourne round 10 last year.
Brisbane Lions celebrate Jonathan Brown's 200-game-in style. They blew the Bombers away in the first half. They led by 58 points early in the last quarter. The margin at halftime was 49, though the damage was done. And to Essendon's credit, they fought out in the last 2 quarters, but it certainly wasn't enough to win the game. Brisbane, 14-11-95, 27-point winners over Essendon, 10-8-68. But Brisbane, 4 goals, 6 to Jonathan Brown, 3 goals to Banfield, 2 goals to Riskatelli and singles to Clark, Adcock, Brennan, Redden and Polkenhorn. For Essendon, 2 goals to Remus and 1 apiece to Neagle, Stanton, Monfries, Carlisle, Myers, Howlett and Merigliani. Final scores 14-11-95 Brisbane, 27-point winners over Essendon, 10-8-68. In the early game it was Port Adelaide, 17-10-112, 29-point victors over Melbourne, 11-17-83. Schultz 5 for the Power, Jurra 4 for the Demons.
Just having a look on the field, Haim, and a lot of Bomber supporters, probably about 30 in total, have walked out there.
You might find...
I'm not sure what that's for. What is that, Jason?
I don't know. You might find 22 of them, perhaps, 1 for each player. I'm not sure.
Right.
This is just what you feel like after getting thumped by 33, is it?
Let's go down to Michael Roberts. What's going on down there, Robbo?
I've just been having a conversation with the AFL and the 2 doctors, Doc Reed and the Brisbane doctor, and they've just confirmed in discussion that Troy Selwood could have a fractured wall and a suspected broken sternum. So that is the update from both the doctors, out of their mouths, right on the boundary line as we speak.
That is a very serious injury. In fact, the last... Remember, Robert Dipier Domenico fractured his sternum, Jason, in the late 1980s. That was regarded as a very serious injury. And I think from memory there was someone 3 or 4 years ago that might have fractured their sternum. But that is a very nasty injury.
Yeah, I had a cracked sternum.
Oh, did you really?
At one stage, and it was incredibly painful. I think I only missed 1 or 2 weeks.
Dipper missed about 8, but you were tougher than
It was just a crack. But any movement creates incredible pain because everything you do is reflected in your sternum.
Yeah.
Breathing, moving, anything at all, incredibly painful.
Well, the scenario on the ground is that every bomber has a jumper and has their number on it, and they've signed the jumper. It looks like they're all going to present to...
Just what the Essendon players would be happy to do after a loss, but this is good for the supporters.
It is.
Absolutely, and that's what it's about. And the Brisbane Lions down there just high-fiving the cheer squad, Jonathan Brown in his 200th game.
They're going to chair Brownie off. Who would have that role? Have to be
Mitch Clark.
Merritt and Clark, wouldn't it?
Simon Black and Luke Power. Left him off. What a star he is. So well done to him and the Brisbane Lions.
Yeah, high fives from the Lions supporters and Jonathan Brown. I don't think he's going to...
We turned around and said, here it is.
It's Merritt and Clark. The only two blokes that can lift him up. We got that right. And Jonathan Brown, what a champion of the game. He's being chaired off, and rightly so. Probably best on ground this afternoon with 4 goals, 6, game number 200.
It's unlikely that Merritt or Clark will play next week.
AC joint?
Yeah.
It's the only two. Now Essendon trudge off, and
Matty Knight's down there with the players.
What does it all mean, Shane, in the scheme of things with Matthew Knights?
Oh, they'd just be extremely disappointed with their first half. Their second half, at least they had a crack. They outscored the Brisbane Lions, but it's all about the first half. You've got to get yourself into the game early, and they didn't do that. They went about it in the wrong way, and I'm not blaming Matty Knights. I'm just saying the players weren't taking risks, weren't linking up very well once they did win the contested ball, and I don't think there's a great deal in it. They were very inexperienced up against a side who was really pumped for a special occasion for one of their greats.
Have a look at this, Shane. Melksham, 12 games. Carlisle, 1 game. Hardingham, 4 games. Queen, 7 games. Cremieri, 1 game. And Magliani, first game. Yeah. Brisbane's 7th win for season 2010. 7 wins and 14 losses.